Welcome inside the RX Muscle Studios in Westbury for another episode, a special episode of As Dave, better known as hashtag As Dave, brought to you by Species Nutrition. You can go now to speciesnutrition.com for the all-new Fit for Spring stack. Summer is almost here, spring is upon us, weather is starting to get nice, and you want a way to get ripped. You can get it with the Fit for Spring stack. Includes Isolyze, Somalize, Lipolyze, Omega-Lyze, and macadamia nut oil. And as a bonus, aside from the greatly reduced price, you get a free blender bottle. So we bring in Dave Palumbo. Dave, right now on speciesnutrition.com, the Fit for Spring stack.
Well, everyone wants to get in shape for the spring. I don't know why people don't want to get in shape for the winter, but everyone wants to get in shape for the spring. So I said, you know what? I'm going to make it easy. I'm going to put together some of the products. I know everyone can't use every product. I'd love everyone to use all the Species Nutrition products, and they probably would come in very handy and help your health and help you achieve all your goals. But people have a budget, so I put together the most, I guess you could say, powerful products that you would want to use in a fat loss diet, supplement stack, etc., etc. And I put them together at a special price and made it appealing for people to buy. And, I think that, people just don't know what to use, and it's, education is important. I'm going to do a little video to go along with it to help the people maybe get a little head start on how to structure their diet, how to incorporate the I guess you could say the supplements. But the most important thing is to be consistent. If you don't consistently use them, if you don't consistently follow the diet, and if you don't consistently go to the gym, you're not going to get results. That's the bottom line.
So the name of the game is, as usual, you have a chance to ask your questions to Dave via the Muscle Central forum on rxmuscle.com, on our Instagram handle, official_rxmuscle, on our official Facebook page, or by Twitter using the hashtag AskDave. We're going to start with our official Instagram handle, official_rxmuscle. We've got a ton of questions, so let's start with Frank's Quest. Dave, your show smells so bad, I have to wear a gas mask every time the show is on. Dave, is anyone ever going to tell Rolly Winkler that he is getting too big in the gut department? He is one of my favorites, but someone close to him needs to say something.
Well, I think the problem is that as bodybuilders, we never think we're big enough. I mean, we can look in the mirror and your arm could be 25 inches and we say, it's not big enough. Speaking of which, we have a man here who might have bigger than 25-inch arms. I know a lot of you guys at home are wondering, did we forget Gregg Valentino? Gregg Valentino is in studio. Oh, look, he's sneaking in already. I haven't even called him in yet. He's already here. A little later, after the commercial break, we're going to bring him in so he can answer your questions, and he's got some great stories, and a lot of them revolve around Steve Bleckman, and you know how I feel about that. So, getting back to Rolly Winkler, I think Rolly looks in the mirror and he thinks he's not big enough. So, while his pecs and his back and his shoulders and arms are getting bigger, when the midsection starts to get bigger, it ruins the illusion. So I think that's what's going on right now. While he's gaining contest weight, he's gaining it all over, and it's not helping his aesthetics. And that goes back to what Arnold said after the Arnold Classic about the fact that the judges should go back to a more aesthetic-looking bodybuilder. And I think that Rolly might be making a mistake. I think Kai Green started going there for a while too, trying to get too big, and after a while, it throws off the illusion. And bodybuilding is all about illusions.
Let's go to the Muscle Central forum on rxmuscle.com. If you're not already a member, it is free to register. With that, we check in with Lucas. Hi, everyone. I hate this damn show more than cardio in a sauna. My question is, Dave, what are your thoughts on D-aspartic acid 3 grams a day for men with low testosterone? For example, post-cycle, plus should it be taken in a cycle pattern? And what do you think about potential cardiovascular system protecting effect of citrulline, like 4 grams in the morning and 4 grams before bed? Greetings from Germany.
Well, throwing in a lot of questions there. Let's talk about the D-aspartic acid first. I'm a big believer in, testosterone boosting agents. I have a formula called Testolyze. The key with these test boosting agents is you can't just take one ingredient, because you have to address testosterone increase or augmentation from the perspective of optimizing testosterone. That means preventing estrogen formation, preventing DHT formation, and then trying to also boost natural endogenous testosterone. And you can do that with three different, types of ingredients. An estrogen blocker, a DHT blocker, and then you can use a D-aspartic acid or a tribulus to raise testosterone. So I think you get a more effective result when you combine all these ingredients in one formula as opposed to just taking the D-aspartic acid. So if you want to try to, raise your testosterone, lower estrogen and DHT, try Testalize. I'm telling you, it works really effectively. I've used it myself while off, being off any hormone replacement, and I've noticed that my very low natural levels, which I have, increased significantly from like 200 up to 600, which to me put me in the normal range. Now, to address the citrulline question, there's different, people have problems cardiovascularly speaking because of high blood pressure. And usually the reason we get high blood pressure as we get older is that the blood vessel walls, the smooth muscle in there, doesn't contract or doesn't dilate and contract properly. And because it doesn't dilate properly, okay, and that's usually due to a lack of nitric oxide, we get high blood pressure and we get all the side effects of high blood pressure, which is obviously not good for our health. Arginine, citrulline, these compounds definitely have a nitric oxide or blood vessel opening effect on the body. How much you should take on a regular basis, that's up for debate. The science is still out there. Personally, if you did a pre-workout, like once a day that doesn't have too many crazy stimulants in it, because, once you start putting all the stims in there, you kind of ruin the cardiovascular benefit of it. I have a product, Neutralize, with no stimulants, and that has a nice vasodilating effect because of arginine, beetroot extract, and a number of other ingredients that help open up the blood vessels. That might be a better solution. Use that prior to training, and you'll get more blood flow to the muscles, plus it'll obviously help with lowering blood pressure.
You're watching Ask Dave on RxMuscle.com, brought to you by Species Nutrition. Reminder, later on in the show, we will be joined by our first ever special guest on this show, Gregg Valentino. He is in studio, and we will have him on shortly. We stay in the Muscle Central Forum and check in with Danny Almeida. Dave, I would rather watch my city's waste collectors take my garbage than watch your garbage show. Good one, Danny. Good for you. With your coaching experience, have you ever been on a diet or a strength coach for combat athletes? Example, MMA, boxing. If so, how many days of the week did you have the athlete work on their strength cardio, and how long were the workouts? Did you have any recommendations of important exercises to incorporate in a routine for that kind of athletes? Jokes aside, I love what you do and your passion for health and fitness.
I've done diets, a lot of diets for MMA guys that had to make weight, boxers that had to make weight, because, you can't put them on no carbs because they need glycogen to exercise. To do their actual fighting. That's high intensity exercise. As far as strength routines, that's really not my forte. In that sense, I would probably send them over to my good friend Scooter Honig, who works with all the celebrities, Leonardo DiCaprio, LL Cool J. He's working with a number of pro boxers now, Luis Collazo. He's the expert over there. I personally wouldn't even be able to give you I wouldn't even venture to be an expert in something I'm not.
Let's go back to our Instagram. Again, our Instagram handle is official_RX Muscle. This one from Mr. C Shadows. Dave, I hate this show so much. It's worse than Phoebo Power being canceled. Ouch. I like that, though. Dave, are there benefits to only being on HGH and not on PEDs while off cycle or throughout the whole year?
One more time, Sid.
So are there benefits to only being on HGH and not PEDs while off cycle or throughout the whole year?
So in other words, when you're going, I think the question is when you're going off a cycle of anabolic steroids, is it beneficial to stay on growth hormone? That's debatable. A lot of guys do that just to keep themselves anabolic. I'm of the belief, a lot of guys who compete regularly will stay on pretty much most of the year. They'll stay on for their off season into their pre-contest. And then what I recommend people do is after the contest is over to clean out for a good 12 weeks. At that point, you're probably better off doing nothing. If you're going to clean out, just get off anything exogenous that you're putting into your body and let your body just be itself. Let it detox itself. Let all the receptors recover, because that's the way you're going to get the best benefits when you go back on. Plus, you're allowing your body to regenerate itself. Remember, the body is like a machine. If you keep pushing that machine and never give it time off to basically heal up, ultimately something's going to break. And we don't want anything breaking in the human body, because a lot of times that can result in death, unfortunately.
You're watching Ask Dave on RxMuscle.com. Reminder, Gregg Valentino live in studio in just a few minutes. Again, if you want to get your questions in, you can use the Muscle Central forum on RxMuscle.com, our official Instagram page, official_RxMuscle, our Facebook page, or tweet your questions using hashtag AskDave. We go back to our Instagram page. This question from Big Daddy Philip 1. Hey, Dave, your show sucks. Perfect. Have you suffered any long-term side effects from your bodybuilder lifestyle in previous years? You mention your heart quite often. I'm curious to know how your overall health is.
I'm pretty much a hypochondriac, just to lay it on the line. I'll admit it. As I get older, I think I have more and more ailments, and I go to more and more specialists. And fortunately for me, most of the stuff comes back as negative, that I don't have anything wrong with me. But to be honest, we all put our bodies under strain, and I think that going to the doctor, checking up on yourself is important. And I think a lot of people, especially bodybuilders, put their head in the sand about that. And I noticed we just had another death this past weekend from Bev Francis Powerhouse Gym. I want to send my condolences out to Tom Mikowski and his family. I know that was a real sad passing. But the truth be told, sometimes these are messages that you got to go to the doctor. One of the most important things to ever have done as you hit your 40s and later is get your coronary arteries visualized. You can go for CAT scans now. They're a little expensive, but you know what? It's peace of mind, because if they find some kind of a blockage in there, they can go in there and put a stent, and you know what? You can live a healthy life, and it won't affect you. If they don't diagnose this and you go to sleep one day, you might not wake up. And it happens to all too many people, especially in our industry. We've heard a lot about this happening to a lot of bodybuilders recently. So, get yourself checked out. Luckily, I'm doing pretty good right now. I don't think I have anything that's going to knock me off in the next couple of years. I'm pretty much doomed to live a very long life and suffer for many, many years.
We go back to our Instagram page again, at official_RxMuscle. This question from Team 3CC Carlos. This show sucks so much, I'd rather smell my protein farts all day long. Question, Dave. We've heard so much about many bodybuilders cycle. Now, what was your craziest cycle you were on, and what did you take? And what does he say here? Dave, women under 200 pounds keto should follow the same as men diet under. So I'm guessing he's asking whether or not women under 200 pounds should follow the same diet as men, keto diet under 200 pounds.
Well, first, just to address there's so many questions, I don't even remember them. The
Crazy
diet
cycle.
question is, I do have a woman's diet out there somewhere floating around the internet. And I think Team 3CC, that's Boston Lloyd's team,
I think so, yeah. There you go.
And, to speak about protein farts, the most deadly protein fart guy might be in the studio sitting to my right, not on camera yet. Oh, he does a protein... What is it?
That's protein shits, not farts. But I got to tell you something. After today, when Dave gives me some of this, wink, wink, I won't have any protein farts or shits.
That's right.
I'll be back.
A lot of people don't realize you shouldn't really be farting from protein powders if you use a good way like Isolize, won't happen. Getting back to my craziest cycle ever, I don't know. I think you guys would be very disappointed if I told you what I did back in the day. Maybe Gregg Valentino might have a crazier cycle than me, but we'll hear from him later. I think more people would like to hear his probably cycle. I would do like 1,200 milligrams of testosterone a week. I would do 600 milligrams of equipoise a week. I would do maybe 4 or 5 IUs of growth hormone, the most. This is the most we're talking about. Maybe about 10 units of insulin twice a day. Nothing that glamorous. I'm telling you, it wasn't like maybe a little bit of IGF with that. Today, that would be a tame cycle. Back in 1996, I was a nutcase, they thought, taking that kind of stuff. So, I guess it depends on the times. I think that was a safe, high cycle. I think today, some of the dosages that people doing are insane.
Let's go to our Twitter feed again. If you want to tweet any questions, use the hashtag AskDave. This question... Dave, what do you think about intermittent fasting to get in shape as you get older? Should training change, maybe with less frequency?
I do like intermittent fasting. Matter of fact, I kind of almost do it every day of my life. I try to stop my eating around 12 midnight, and I don't really eat again until 12 noon. That's, that doesn't happen every day, but I do it most of the time, and I think that gives your body a nice chance to release toxins and detoxify itself. I don't necessarily know if it's going to lead to longevity, but I definitely leads to a healthier body. So maybe in that sense, you'll live longer. As far as weight loss goes, I don't know if intermittent fasting, sometimes I think that's a bad thing, because when you go a long period of time without consuming food, invariably you wind up overeating when you do eat because you're so hungry. So to me, when you're dieting, the best thing to do is eat very small meals frequently so that you never really get starved. Because once that starvation sets in, you can rationalize eating just about anything.
Let's go back to our Instagram page again. If you want to ask any questions on our Instagram page, it is official_RX Muscle. Let's go. Who do we want to ask here? Let's go to our good friend Farabi_K. Dave, every time I watch this show, it makes me so mad that I just want to smash everything around me. Everything around me and bite my fingers so hard. All right, so you had to throw that in there too. My question is, what should I do after a cycle to avoid any side effects?
Well, after the cycle's over, you're really not going to get the side effects. You're going to get the side effects when you're on the cycle. And how do you avoid those? Well, you try to. Most side effects are due to estrogen, high estrogen or high DHT. So you can take estrogen blocking agents like Arimidex, Femara, Aromacin. You could take DHT blocking, drugs like finasteride. Those are usually the side effects that most people see, from estrogen and DHT. Obviously, if you get high blood pressure or if you get any kind of cardiac effects, that's something that might be dosage related. Trenbolone sometimes prevents you from sleeping. Coming off is usually not when the side effects occur, although that's when most people tend to not like the way they look, so that's when they think the side effects occur.
Let's go back to the Muscle Central forum on rxmuscle.com. Again, if you're not already a member, it is free to register. This question from Animal. Dave, this show is as bad as Donald Trump's tacky haircut. Nice. I'm currently coming back from an 8-week layoff from training due to a surgery that had to be done, and I'm a natural athlete. I've been wanting to try keto, but never actually committed to the idea until now. I'm currently about 250 pounds at a height of 6 feet and around 20-25% body fat. How and when would you recommend I begin the switch to ketosis, and would it benefit me to put my calories mostly clean for a couple of weeks to try to put some muscle back on before starting the diet?
At 25% body fat, I'd probably get on the diet immediately, because that's pretty high for a man. That's, 28% is obese. So I would definitely I would go directly onto the ketogenic approach. High protein, moderate fat, no carbs. Give yourself a cheat meal once a week. That's going to maximize fat loss, and it's going to probably the advantage of going on a ketogenic diet where your carbs are really super low is that your brain switches into burning fats for fuel, ketones. That's why you're said to be in a state of ketosis. All that means is that your brain is using fat for fuel rather than carbs. The advantage of that is that your blood sugar doesn't drop. When your blood sugar doesn't drop, you're not moody, you don't get hungry, you don't crave things. And that's the key to most people's success. Most people fail on a diet because they cheat, because they're grumpy or they're hungry. And if you can get rid of those two aspects, you're much more likely to have success in the diet, especially being that overweight, and that having that higher body fat. I would go right into ketogenic.
Let's check in with our live stream audience on the live chat box, and we check in with King M. Dave, how can I maintain my muscle because I have a stomach infection until Monday to make sure what kind of infection? I'm not quite sure where we're going with this. I have no appetite, and when I force feed myself, I get bloated and I feel nauseous. So I guess really the question is how to maintain muscle while having a stomach infection.
I used to worry about this crazy stuff too when I was, and then now that I look back, there's no way you're going to lose any muscle in 2-3 days if you're sick. I know people think I'm not going to the gym, I can't eat, I'm only eating one time a day, I'm going to lose all this muscle that I've been building for the last 5 years. It's not going to happen. You'll probably lose 5 to 10 pounds just because you're going to lose water weight. But after a week of being back to eating and training again, it'll all come back. And you know what? Sometimes you actually put on exercise because the rest and the time off actually is beneficial. So Don't panic. When you get sick, especially if you have a fever, stay home and rest.
Got time for a couple more questions. Again, special guest Gregg Valentino about to join us in studio here at the RX Muscle Studios. We'll take one more from our Instagram feed. Dave, this question from Tactical Genie. Love the show, so clearly they didn't get the memo. Dave, what was one of your favorite moments you had during your bodybuilding career, and who did you enjoy working with the best?
I guess working with the best as far as athletes go.
They just asked us, so I guess let's go with athlete and maybe someone that helped you along the way.
I really liked working with Evan Centopani when I worked with him in the beginning. I liked working with Tony Freeman, was a good one. Guy Sistonino was another great guy. These are guys that just like were machines. Nathan DeTracy was great. I still work with Shelby Starnes. I love the relationship we have. I know he's a diet guru for a lot of top athletes out there, but he's smart because he knows that only a dumb man advises himself, and so him and I have some very good interactions. We got him his pro card. He's done probably more in bodybuilding than anyone would ever suspected when they first saw him. So I like guys that are really dedicated to the cause and who just love and have a passion for what they do. And that's really what I experienced coming up. The people who reached out to me and Jimmy Quinn, who always offered advice. Those are the guys that I still to this day I'm friends with. And I think that that's an important thing in this industry. There's so many fake people out there that it sometimes becomes discouraging because you don't really know who to trust and who to who's telling you the truth about yourself, because that's a big one too. Luckily, I always had people surrounding me in my inner circle that I could trust, but there's only a handful of people out there that when I was competing, I always looked up to Dorian Yates because of his work ethic. I didn't really know him as a person, so I couldn't tell you. I didn't really interact with him. But his work ethic was what inspired me. And I think that you always have to have someone that you can try to emulate or look up to. And that's who it was when I was on the stage.
This last question that we're going to take comes from our official Facebook page, and it comes from Kel Hutchins, and it kind of ties together a couple of things you were just talking about, Dave. This question, let's see here. Okay, he starts with a good one here. Dave, I hate this show so much, it makes me want to buy a copy of MD and beat you with it. What is it with all the gurus? Are none of the pros able to do the work on their own? Example of someone not like this being Dorian Yates. He never had a coach at any point in his career.
Well, like I said just before, only a fool advises himself. It's hard to really look at yourself in the mirror and subjectively say to yourself, this is what I need to do. Most people overdo it. They just can't look at themselves properly. And I know guys who look in the mirror and think they look amazing and they look terrible. So a lot of guys need coaches just because they need a second set of eyes to tell them the truth about themselves. I know I've worked with, which I just mentioned Shelby Starnes before. Shelby Starnes knows how to get people in shape. He knows how to diet. He knows all the techniques. We use pretty much the same techniques every year on him with a few modifications. But he knows that he can't look at himself in the mirror and make the right judgment calls. And that's why coaches are so important. Now, there's other athletes like Ronnie Coleman. When he worked with Chad Nichols, I guarantee you that to this day, if we ask Ronnie to design a diet based around trying to get someone in shape, he probably couldn't do it. He just didn't want to be bothered with that. He let Chad do the thinking. He listened and just followed along. And for him, it worked because you know what? He got consistent results. Sometimes when you start making too many changes and start thinking you're too smart, what happens invariably is that you fail because you overdo it, or you're
Can I throw 2 cents in here?
Yes, you may, Dre.
Can I just say something? Let me tell you something about Dorian Yates. All right? He's a dick. No, sorry. Dorian, if you're watching this, stop that fucking anti-Semite shit. Anyway, let me tell you something, and this is true. Dorian Yates may not have had a trainer, but you could bet your ass that he had a few guys at his gym that were his boys that gave him an objective eye. Remember, even Schwarzenegger had an objective eye. He used to tell Franco Columbu, how do I look? You look good. You know what I'm saying, right? Am I right or wrong?
Yeah.
So trust me, Dorian Yates had an objective eye.
He might have even had a guru that we weren't aware of.
But Dorian Yates needed some isolate. You stop fucking around and being so cheap. Buy this shit, will you?
I saw him before. He downed an energy shot. We got to get him on while he's peaking right now, so before it crashes. think we got to go to a commercial break.
Well,
Sid.
with that said, we are going to step aside. For the first time ever on this show on Ask Dave, we are going to have a special guest. When we come back, we will be joined by Gregg Valentino right here on rxmuscle.com.
IFBB4 Kim Williams, what species are you?
I'm Jonathan Ballou, and I'm the training director for the ski and snowboard schools of Aspen Snowmass. My job demands that I ski hard every day. To keep my joints healthy, I take Arthrolyze Elite. Species Nutrition. Join the evolution.
This is IFBB Pro, Sarah LeBlanc, and living a healthy lifestyle is super important to me. Are you getting all your vitamins and minerals? If not, you better get demineralized.
Why cut back?
It doesn't pay.
Why cut back? Why cut back? Woo!
This is IFBB Figure Pro Heather Dees, and you are watching RX Television.
Welcome back inside the RX Muscle Studios, a special episode of Ask Dave right here on rxmuscle.com, brought to you by, as always, by speciesnutrition.com. That finger you see floating around to the side of me is that of the one and only Gregg Valentino joining us. There he is. So that, I didn't know how to introduce him.
You have your own camera.
You know, he was talking
that's
about during the break. He was like, "Well, does my microphone work?" And I'm like, "You don't need a microphone. You're Gregg Valentino."
He said
So-
I'm very loud.
So we are now going to bring in Gregg Valentino live in studio here at RX Muscle. Greg, talk to us. How's it going right now?
Just a dog chasing his tail. You know what I'm saying? Just came from court with Steve Blackman. You know, trying to. After the third time, he's trying to give me the kibosh, but I don't think it's gonna happen.
What happened? You in court?
You know what? First of all, I just want
Are
to.
you suing Blackman?
No, Steve Blackman is trying to get me. You know, he fired me. So Joe and I are building up Muscle Sport Mag. Everybody knows that because Dave writes with us.
We have a copy right here.
We
You
have
hold
it
up?
right here, guys. Right here. Whoop,
Give us a
whoop.
copy.
There you go. There you go. Muscle Sport Mag. Anyway, so as we're building that, you know, I'm doing the old unemployment thing right now, believe it or not, and it's kind of.
Are you
know.
getting unemployment?
Well, yeah, but the thing is, Blackman's trying to stop it.
Why is that? You worked for him for how many years?
I don't know. You know what I want to know? Did you get that suit from him?
No, because I would have had to return it.
No, you know why I'm thinking. Look, Steve wears the same suit.
I'm trying to be like him. Have you figured that out yet?
Well, you know what it is. I mean, Joe and I are building. You know the story already.
dyeing
We're
my hair, too.
Muscle Sport. I wish I had hair to dye. You know what I'm saying? I'm dying for hair. First of all, I wanted to take this Isolyze right here, but it's empty.
I got plenty for you. Don't
All
worry
right,
about
that's
it.
good. That's good. Sorry about that. Anyway, so we were going to court today. Joe Pietao right there. Hi guys.
We know Joe. He's a good friend of ours.
Joe was great in court. He was ripping ass.
So what happened, Joe? You can't tell a good story, Greg. Tell the story, Joe. What happened in court?
Okay, we had to go down to the Department of Labor, Suffolk County, Hauppauge, New York, which is just a hop, skip, and a jump from Westchester for Greg.
You're right.
So 2 and change
2
on
hours.
the highway.
So you won in court against Bleckman 3 times already.
Well, twice already because they
he
granted
appealed
me.
it. He appealed
it
Now,
twice.
what is he actually losing here? Why is he disputing this unemployment?
Greg put in for unemployment after being terminated by Bleckman in December.
Right.
Department of Labor found Greg in favor, granted him.
Well, he was
benefits.
fired, right? You were fired.
I was released. You know what? He
Released means fired,
Yeah,
Greg.
yeah. No, but I'm saying he did it to a
might be
text
nice way.
message.
You were fired.
Yes, I was fired. Listen,
Why cut back?
No, he did it to a text. I don't even have to talk. Lean into it. Do I have to lean into this like this?
No, but you're pretty loud.
Anyway, no, listen. My girlfriend's sitting over there like, oh my God.
Greg actually brought his girlfriend here. I'm shocked.
Yeah, but she doesn't want to be in camera. See her back. Anyway, no, so what were we talking about?
You were fired.
Oh, okay.
You were
That's right,
fucking
right.
fired.
Okay.
You're fired. Why
Okay.
can't you get unemployment?
All right, wait. No, what happened is this. All right. First of all, fucking Bleckman, he paid me really good. All right, and he spoiled me, and I should have been building an empire.
No one's saying that
right.
he was very generous while you worked there. But
Yeah, he
once
was
he
very good to
fired
me.
you, why can't you get unemployment?
I did. I am. But
okay.
He tried to stop
Why
me.
though?
I don't know.
Why cut back, Steve?
Why
can't you get unemployment?
I don't know. Just, you know what it is?
I
Can
could
I tell you
explain.
something?
I could
He spent
definitely
more on
explain.
a.
Let's let Joe explain.
Yeah, tell him.
Okay. Bleckman tried to block the unemployment by saying that Greg was not an employee of the company, that he was an independent contractor.
14 years.
Month to month. 14 years he worked there. He was
Every
trying-
single month, yeah.
He was trying to say that he had no control over his column. He wrote whatever he wanted. He did whatever he wanted.
So editor of the magazine, he had no control over it.
So
He edited my column once.
Dude, he's a fucking Nazi. You know what I'm saying? You know that.
basically, he put a stop to the benefits. So then Greg had to, so then now they found Greg.
So you couldn't even get your own benefits anymore? You couldn't even.
I could get no benefit, no medical, no.
Wow.
I mean, they hammered me, dude. They hammered
But the Department of Labor found Greg twice in favor. Bleckman appealed it again. They had a court date in March, which they postponed. Right. Hence, we're here today, April 21st. He's in Hauppauge. I come down as a witness for him.
Right.
And as, to show a little, support for my buddy, right?
Of course.
My pal. So we go down in there. So I had to wait in the hallway because I was going to be a witness and have to testify.
They don't want you listening to what happened. Yeah.
I'm in the hallway for a fucking hour. I'm like, what is going
was
on
it? Was
in there?
Bleckman at court?
No, he never showed
He
up.
didn't show up.
He sent a representative from the company.
Dude, do you know what she probably paid for a fucking lawyer?
And a lawyer to go there.
You know what? Dude, you
He
should
could have just paid the unemployment.
Dude, you should have just fucking paid.
I know.
Only 14 fucking years.
I
Jesus.
never would have wasted the
14
money.
years.
One time. Can you imagine me, Johnny Styles, going down to the court for 3 hours? I'd be like, no way.
Dude, you know how much you pay in a lawyer for that? And to build a case and everything?
But bottom line is we won't find out. Greg won't get any notification until he gets a written notification in about a week, they said it will take. But the way I saw it, my point of view, Dave, was that the judge was not happy that Mr. Bleckman, first of all, was not supposed to be there the time that they called for the adjournment. He had no intention of being down there. Denise was going to be there, but she had to cancel because she had a doctor's
Denise being
appointment.
the controller over there.
Yes, she's the CFO over there. So basically, she was there, and she says she couldn't really answer many questions about editorial-wise. So I come in as a witness. I was a contributing editor on the masthead for Muscular Development Magazine.
Yeah, obviously.
So I said to the judge, I have more knowledge of this case than she does.
By the way, can I tell you something? Before they brought you in, I showed the judge your name I opened up the magazine. I said, "This is Joe Peter," and it says contributing editor Joe.
He said that's the grease ball in the hallway waiting for you, doing a pee-pee dance. He doesn't know when he can run to the bathroom. He doesn't know when they're going to call him. No, but bottom line is that we were in there. We will not have an answer, obviously. When we walked out of there, I told Greg that I felt confident about it because they already found him in favor twice. To me, they didn't show any type of evidence.
Blackman
should have
shown. He should have showed up. If he would have showed up, they would have had a chance probably.
Possibly,
but,
yeah.
possibly.
Well, listen, this is what we're surmising. We're just saying possibly that we're going to.
Gregg was very incompetent. He typed in all capitals. He made the life a living hell. We couldn't even edit it. He really wasn't an employee. Matter of fact, I think he might have paid us. Right, Gregg?
You know
was
what's
that right?
funny? You're
Was
right.
that right?
You know what? Dave's right, because you know what happens? I remember even like before you got fired,
Yeah.
he was telling me Dave Palomo's the hardest working guy in this sport, blah 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 blah. Yeah, and then all of a sudden, dude, I got a text message a month before with the Ronnie Coleman the cover. It's the last one I was in, the Ronnie Coleman cover, and I got a text message. I'll show it to you, where it says, "Dude, I love the cover. It was funny. It was great this month." And then all of a sudden, but you know why that is? You know who works for him, right?
Who?
There's no friggin' the one he pulled off the internet there.
Who?
You know
Who?
You tell him who.
Who?
Adina?
You said it. I didn't.
The editor-in-chief of musculardevelopment.com.
Dude, let me tell you something.
Oh, you think she had something to do with your demise?
She stabbed me in the fucking back like you wouldn't believe.
You were like her biggest advocate.
Dude, I was the one who
He
brought her
introduced
there.
her
I
was
to
the one who fucking-
Blackman.
Dude, Victor Martinez told her to go to the website. Then she came to RX and bitched on
Bashed-
RX
bashed
Steve,
MD
because
on RX.
Steve Blackman didn't want to fucking acknowledge her. She walked
At
up to
the
him. He
Arnold.
walked away from her.
Right.
I brought him over to the MD barbecue. I brought her over to Steve.
I was a witness. I was standing right there.
Steve, this is Dina. She's on it. And then before you know it, ding, right in my fucking back. You know what I mean?
Wow. Why do you think she did that, Greg?
I don't know. You know what? She doesn't like the cussing. You know, I cuss and I talk to. Dude, listen to me. That's why he hired me. I suck at writing. I'm not a good writer. I admit that. Okay, listen. I'm looking in the camera right there.
You
Wait,
basically
right there.
transcribe what you say.
Dude, I suck at writing. You think I don't know that? I suck at writing. He's the one who told me to write in all caps. He's the one who came up with the Rambling Freak. I didn't make that name up. He did. But he must have liked me a little bit. 14 years. You know what I mean?
You were there longer than I was.
I was there longer than anybody but Romano. Romano
Yeah.
was there 18 or 19 years.
Yeah.
But look, it's not that. I tell you what, I appreciate everything he's done for me. But you know what? He erased all that by
It was very spiteful with him.
Right. He erased all. Dude, you're actually going to try to find. I mean, we're building up our, we're building up muscle sport, man.
That's why he fought you.
I know.
This is why he fought you, because
Competitor, gotta knock him out. We gotta
destroy him like he tries to do to me all the time.
No, you're right. You're right, dude. He was obsessed with you. Obsessed.
Yeah,
I got to
still
tell Joe. How many times do we have meetings? What's RX doing? Blah, 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 blah. I mean,
Worry
you don't
about
know.
your
He was
side of the
obsessed. He was
street, I used to
obsessed with
tell
you.
him.
We should put one of your snakes in there and fucking let him. Coral snake and shit bit me. Anyway,
I understand.
Let's get to some crazy shit here.
All right. Let's get to some questions, Sid. I think we've
Sid, yeah, we're fine.
we've let
Fuck all that
Greg
shit.
kind of release a little bit.
Yeah.
Now
All right. So this question again from Team 3CC Carlos. He wants to know the craziest cycle of Greg that you've ever done.
I'm not gonna lie. I actually can't give you exact numbers, but I can tell you ballpark numbers. I used to take a bottle of test 3 times a week.
Propionate, though, right?
Propionate, if I had to, entonate or cypionate, but mostly propionate because it's faster acting and it's fun. I loved it. But I took the Steris. That camera, right? Okay.
Yeah.
Listen, what's his name?
Carlos.
Team whatever CC's
Yeah.
guy.
CC.
Carlos, check it out.
Boston Lloyd's.
I used to do on Monday, Wednesday, Friday. I would do a whole bottle. That's 10 cc's.
You'd load it into a 10cc syringe, or would you do it in like 3 cc?
No, I would do 3. I just fucking whatever I do the 3 cc thing.
Okay.
And I would put it wherever I had not put the last one. So I'd stick it in bicep, tricep, shoulder. I never did the ass though, because who wants a big ass? So I would do test. Let's say I would get 200 milligrams sometimes when I would do the cypionate. So that's like 6,000. That's like 6,000, which is a lot. That doesn't count the equipoise. And I used to do a lot of equipoise. Ganabol.
Right, but that was only 50 milligrams a cc.
Yeah, but it didn't matter. I
you do the whole bottle?
no, not the whole bottle, but I didn't count. I just would dump that shit in there. I threw some
Did you use
Anadrols.
orals?
Yeah, oh, absolutely, dude. Anything with absolutely, dude. You know what the best was? The best oral I ever took, aside from my girlfriend giving me oral. No, sorry, honey. She got her back to me. She's sitting
not
there.
even
She's
looking at
hungry. She's like, "Fuck this. When are we gonna eat?" Wait, what was I talking about? Oh,
got the
orals. All right, sorry. The orals I took, the best oral was metanabol, which was
Diana-balls.
Polish D-ball. That shit came in the orange strip?
Yeah. You
Oh,
like that.
my God.
How many would you take of those?
A whole fucking strip. Why should I waste it?
So that was they were only 10 milligrams back then, or
Yeah,
5
but-
milligrams. So they probably
Yeah, but
was
a 10 in a strip, so
you
or
did
whatever.
50 milligrams.
No, see, what I would do is I was one of those whole kind of guys. Like I would say, well, look, here you got like a foil thing with all the little, the pills and shit. I'd be like, well, what? I'm not gonna sit there and leave some in the foil, so I pop them all out and like this.
Now I understand, and you told me this before, and I don't know if I believe you. You said you've never used growth hormone. Is that true?
Never used growth hormone. I couldn't afford it. I mean, wait a minute. Wait a minute. I'm wrong. I could afford it, but I was an androgen junkie. You know what I mean? I like androgens. Why would I want to do? I mean,
I figured you would want to be bigger, though. Wouldn't you think that?
I don't
adding
think.
the
Yeah, but growth hormone really don't make you bigger, does it?
Well, I guess if you combine it with a million milligrams a week.
Dude, I was just a test. Oh God, test.
See, people are probably disappointed now because they're looking and hearing Greg's cycle, and they're like, Boston Lloyd takes more than that.
Does he?
Probably, yeah. I think he does.
Well, I also, you know what else I like? Sten. You know what fucked me up? I know you. I heard that you tried this. I don't know if you. Did you ever try Ludalace?
Yes. PGF2.
Yes,
Not good.
dude. I never took it, but I used to give it to. I used to sell that shit. And it was fucking guys used to tell me, "I'll never take that ever
Makes
again."
you feel like you have the flu. Basically.
It was bad though. But you know what fucked me up? Injectable D-ball, Reforbit B.
Oh, you didn't like that? Why?
No, I don't know why. It was like fucking antifreeze. It came out looking like It looks like antifreeze.
Well, they had all the B vitamins in there
dude,
too.
yeah,
It
but
was-
that
it was
shit.
like orange
when you would
color.
inject that shit, you would like burp and like vitamins.
Well, because you were taking too much of it, probably.
Probably, I was taking a whole bottle. You know, this guys, you got to understand. See, now I'm saying, all right, maybe I'm not, but I was nuts back then. So when I had so much shit. I would just reach in a box, and I used to have so much.
How come you're still so big? Are you still training?
Yeah, I'm training, but I'm not on shit.
I
I'll
know.
take it to you guys. Hey, anybody out there want to take a drug test or do a synthol? I know you. I'm waiting for those fucking answers now. But I'll be more than happy to get scanned. Fucking.
How old are you? How old?
I'm not big. I'm wearing 2 sweatshirts.
How big are your arms nowadays?
Oh, they're not like what they were.
They're way over 20 inches.
No, they're not 20. I don't know.
We got to get a tape measure on that.
No, I don't want to. I'm embarrassed.
Still
John, you have
fucking
the
big.
tape measure over there? We'll get the tape measure. All right, next question.
All right, next
All right,
question.
so let's stick with the Instagram handle again. Official_RX Muscle is question from Blake_Sinclair. Greg, how much protein should I take to get my arms that big?
How much protein? How much did I take? I mean, I take a lot. You need Isolize.
That's empty, though, Greg.
Oh.
Yeah.
You need well, make sure yours is not empty. But if you fucking buy that, stop being cheap. Buy the fucking Isolize, okay? But no. All right, how much protein? It depends. See, listen. I mean, Dave will probably tell you this. Like in training is instinctive. Nutrition's instinctive. I think some people can tolerate more protein than others. I like a lot of protein. I eat probably two grams per pound. I mean,
You still eat that much?
Yeah, I do. I eat a lot of steak. I had fucking steak this morning.
You like to eat the steak raw, too, right?
No, I used to, not anymore.
Oh, no?
No, because, today, I used to eat that shit all the time. I'd get a pound. When I was younger, a teenage bodybuilder and everything, I would get a pound of, what do you call it, like chopped meat. I'd go to the butcher and I would eat that shit raw. I couldn't do that now, though. I couldn't
You're
do
afraid of disease now?
Yeah, I am. I'm afraid of this. I'm afraid, today everything's different.
Well, the classic scene of all time, that one of my favorite scenes in all of movie history, is when you're in the diner and Bigger, Stronger, Faster, eating the steak with the juices dripping down your
You know what's
face,
funny?
Talking to Chris Bell.
That was a great. Everybody loves that. You know what's funny? Steve Blackman once challenged me at the Arnold Classic. He bought like a 3-pound steak, and I told.
What's your best steak?
And you know what's funny? And I
What's
ate.
your best steak?
I ate it, but you know what's,
Bone-in filet.
You know what the funny part is? I shit out 4 pounds of meat.
But you only
Get
ate
it?
3.
That's funny.
Yeah.
Fuck you people.
All right, let's
right,
go.
next question.
Let's go to the live stream, live chat boxes question from ZZUP. Greg, what's the craziest Victor Martinez story you remember?
Oh, boy.
Oh boy. I got to be honest with you. Victor's my friend, so I think I should skip that. I can tell you though, he's a good guy. I love Victor. He's a good, very good friend of mine. I know Victor way before he was ever pro, when he was just a kid. But his guys. It wouldn't be fair if I told you his personal shit because I like him.
Okay.
But I did see Dorian Yates. No,
Yeah, you did, tell us the Dorian Yates story. That was a good one.
dude. I got some great stories about me. But
especially since he's a Holocaust denier.
what's wrong with him? What's wrong, dude? He's into all that shit. You know, I mean, I used to see Dorian Yates in the Sound Factory all the time, and he'd
What
be,
time
bro,
in the morning?
He was like 6, 7 in the morning. He'd be. One time, I'm looking over. Me and Bob Bonham were leaning on a railing. You know, down. You remember there was a railing and downstairs.
You overlooked the downstairs
right.
room.
And downstairs, they were dropping shit. Like they would drop like the little smoke would come down and shit.
Sure.
And anyway, we saw Dorian, right? And he had like a mesh shirt on with sunglasses, and he was in the middle.
Was he big back this?
No,
Oh, this one
no, dude, I didn't even. I walked right by him. I'm like, that's Dorian Yates. You know what I mean? I mean, I knew him, but I mean, I didn't recognize him. You know, he was in a corner. Anyway, that song "Shiny Disco Balls" was playing, and he was in the middle of
hum it for us a little bit.
Disco, disco, disco. Anyway, they're dropping down the smoke, right? And we and Bob Bonham are just sitting there now. It's like fucking like 10 in the morning. I saw Romano fucking around with some transvestite or something. No, but anyway. Hi, John. Fuck you. You know what I know her too. Anyway, so he's over there. We're looking over the railing. And Bob Bonham goes to me, look, and that song's playing. And it was Dorian in an ocean of club kids with his hands up in the air like to God. It was, you had to be there. It was funny.
Oh, boy.
Dude, I saw him on the train. Anyway. Go ahead, next.
All right, so you're watching Ask Dave, by the way, on rsmuscle.com.
I think it's Ask Greg now.
That's a minnow. All right, go ahead.
So this question, we go back to the live stream, live chat box. A question from West W. Greg, what were your thoughts on Arnold's thoughts, what he said after the Arnold Sports Festival 2015?
I think he's right. He said it 2 years too late. I said it fucking 2 years ago. And guess what? You know what happened to me? I got banned.
You did. That's right.
I got banned from the fucking IFBB. I wasn't allowed to go to any shows or anything because I fucking
got
said
yelled
that.
at, right?
Yeah, but do you think he would stick up for me and say, you know, do you think he would fucking say, like, you know, hey, he's the one who approved that column, too?
He fired you. What did you say in the column?
It was printed in the print magazine, and you only got your balls broken when you put it on fucking Facebook.
Right. He's right.
Oh, really?
No, when I put it in our
forum.
In our forum.
Fitness RX for
Fitness
Men.
RX forum.
The forum that they couldn't wait to get rid of because we were a little too risque in that.
Yeah, right.
So what did you say?
Well, basically what I said was, I can't believe, first of all, you know, I said you got to blame the judging, you know, because of the fucking girls. You know, you're bitching about the girls having 20-inch arms now and all jacked, but you let it get to that. Do you understand? If you would have scored them lower, that never would have happened. Plus, I said Arnold built the Arnold Classic on the backs of female bodybuilding and male bodybuilding. Right. And you're going to drop female bodybuilding and put pole dancing in there? Mm-hmm. Are you kidding me? Right. Well, what are you doing to our sport? What are you doing to our sport?
Do you think that what they did was they phased out the women bodybuilders for a year and then they put the women's physique kind of to replace them? Because, I mean, let's face it, women's physique is the new women's bodybuilding.
Well, yeah, I mean,
look at the size of the girls now. It's like bigger than when Rachel McLeish started.
Well, Tanya Knight.
We're probably back. We're probably past the Corey Everson era already.
Yeah, absolutely. No, but isn't it asinine? What are you going to do? Get rid of the male bodybuilders eventually and make the all
men's physique?
Because eventually the men's physique shit is those guys are getting more and more jacked.
I think the problem is I think we all love bodybuilding. That's not going anywhere. The problem is that a lot of the best talent for bodybuilding now is going into men's physique because it's easier and quicker to get a pro card.
Well, dude, now, I mean...
Phil Heath probably wouldn't have even had to work out. He could have gone from the basketball court. He would have been a men's physique player.
You're absolutely right. But back when listen, years ago, an IFBB Pro card was like the fucking holy grail. Right. Today, you got girls 18 years old. I'm an IFBB Pro on fucking if I see one more of that shit on Facebook, IFBB Pro. You know what I'm saying? Let me ask you a question. What about the girl who won the Arnold Classic a couple years ago in Europe? 14 years old. Do you remember that one? Yeah. She won the Arnold in, was it Brazil or one?
Amateur, yeah. Sure.
But still, she was 14 years old.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, 14-year-old girls are fucking pro, IFBB Pro, right?
I don't know.
I mean, come on, you know. But I'm just saying, and I'm not really bashing the IFBB. I was more bashing Arnold, to be honest with you, saying how could you fucking get rid of female bodybuilding?
Right. You were mad at that Arnold.
Yeah, I mean, you know,
maybe you didn't see where they were going with the women's. I think, look, everyone said they don't want to get rid of women's bodybuilding. There is obviously a sponsor, Wings of Strength, supports women's bodybuilding, but without them, let's face it, women's bodybuilding would probably be done. And whatever women were left would have to go to women's physique or just not compete anymore.
I agree.
Which thank God they provided another alternative because they could have just not put anything in its place.
No, you're right, but I'm saying you let it get out of control. You should have. I mean,
look, it's a reboot. Women's physique is a reboot of women's
yes,
bodybuilding.
it
It's
is.
like going to watch another movie that they just start over again because they don't like the way it was
But what
done.
happens to all the female bodybuilders out there that got themselves?
Well,
I mean,
how many new ones really are there? Most of the women are
No, you're
over
right.
50, already. So
No, you're right. It's like rock and roll, man. That shit's dead.
unfortunately.
Let's go to the next question here from Play Top 4. What kind of diet did Gregg do in his heyday? Honestly.
Where's all the fucking Synthol questions? I'm waiting for that shit. What kind of diet did I do in my... Well, you're talking about when I competed a real long time ago? Or you I mean, back when you got to remember, I was in the 70s and early 80s. It was the high carb, no fat, one of those, you remember that stuff. Dave's actual original trainer was my trainer. It was the guy who trained me.
Oh, you Peter Neff trained you?
Yeah, Peter Neff. And Peter Neff was the one who used to tell me about natural. And I used to think, well, what's unnatural? I didn't know what steroids were back then. I thought he meant he was a vegan. You know what I mean? Like, he had a lisp. I'm natural. And I used to say, well, what the fuck?
Didn't Peter Neff bite the head off his snake or something like that? I heard.
He had
into
pet
the loony
snake.
bin?
Yeah.
They put him in the loony bin, right?
Oh yeah, I could tell you stories.
Let's go to the next one, and this is a one that a lot of people are asking, and it's asked by Title 2. Gregg, if you could be with two females of the entire industry, who would it be? Pick at least top 2 girls you have always liked.
Oh, now you're talking. I mean, always. I mean, Gladys Portuguese is obviously number one. You know who I like? What the hell's that chick's name? The one I like is Jean Aliotti.
Oh, you like her? Okay.
Yeah, I love that girl. With that
She just
thick
gave
curly
birth.
hair.
She just, right, Amanda? Second kid already.
I swear to God, I wish it was me. Not that gave birth, but that gave,
Yeah,
to
you
put the
always
baby.
liked her in your column. You would always.
Yeah, I
write things
like. I
about
don't
her.
know why I like her. Even right.
beautiful. That's
My
why you
girlfriend's
like
sitting
her.
there right there. She knows. Lucia, you wouldn't
You
care.
used
if
to
I-
always you used to also talk about Kim Klein a lot.
Yeah, Kim Klein's a really nice girl. You know what? But you asking me my 2 top is,
Right.
I don't know. I like that curly hair, the Latin look, and
you do,
everything.
okay.
So definitely Gladys Portuguese first. I mean, come on, Gladys Portuguese.
She was married to
gorgeous.
Van Damme. Actually, they just got divorced for the second time, I think, recently.
Well, did he smack her around?
I don't know.
Yeah, but you know what? She was married. She was with my boy Brian. I'm
Brian
very
Moss
good. Yeah,
first,
Brian
yeah.
Moss and I are really close.
Let's go on now to, I guess, is Dedrew. What's Gregg's opinion on George Farah?
Of George, I like George. George Farah, right?
Yeah, George Farah.
The one true guru.
I like George. George is a good guy. George is all right. He's you got to get. You see, you know what it is. Dave will tell you this. Sometimes the guys that you know in the industry that you think are like really cool are assholes, and then sometimes the guys that maybe you think are assholes are pretty cool guys. I like I get along really well with Sean Ray. You know what I mean? Him and I consider Sean Ray one of my better friends at MD. As a matter of fact, what the fuck was I going to say?
Would you be surprised to find out that Sean Ray was one of the reasons why you got fired?
Yeah, it would be, because you know why? Because he actually warned me when Joe and I, what did I do? I did some show or something like that, and he warned me, dude, are you kidding me? Dude, he called my house? He called me up to say, dude, I got your back, don't do that shit,
I don't believe he had your back.
Well, he called me, I swear to God.
Yeah, he probably was trying
He
to cover
warned
for
me.
what was really going to happen, I'm sure.
No, I swear, he warned me of shit. I don't remember what it was, though. Go ahead, next.
Let's go to the,
I'm sorry. Next. Dave said next.
let's go to the next question. This one from Bobby G. Did Gregg ever shoot the short head or long head of the tricep?
I'm waiting for them Synthol. Come on, guys. Don't fuck around. I'm waiting. I shot
All the heads.
Isolise. No, wait. What did he ask me? Am I short head or my
The
long
short
head?
head or the long head of the tricep, yeah.
He said, "Do you have a short or
you
long
mean the
head of
back,
your
this,
penis?
or the back?
Is your
Dude,
penis long or short?" He
My
said.
penis is pretty good.
Yeah.
That's why I've been with a young Mexican girl for how long? 8 years. I'm
Well,
going
you're
9
Italian.
years.
That's why the Italians got it.
There you go. I'm 55. I don't look that old,
You're
right?
55?
I'm gonna be 55 in the summer. Yeah.
Wow.
I start saying it now, so
old
when I get
fuck.
there, I feel like
Yeah,
I've been
wow.
there. Do I
And
look
he-
55?
And he's
No,
still
I-
alive. That's amazing, right? Everyone would think.
Yeah,
he'd be
everybody
dead.
thinks all this shit. Wait, shoot the long head or short? I don't know. I just stuck the fucking needle in where it went. I didn't. See, what people don't understand is I didn't plan that shit. I was a natural bodybuilder for 23 years, and I'm an all or nothing guy. So when I started doing it, I gained 100 pounds.
Were you even able to decipher the long and short head after a while?
I don't know. I just stuck
It all became one big head, right?
It just fucking. I just stuck it. I don't know. I didn't plan it. I just was like, wait, okay, I shot that. All right, let me shoot over here. Sorry, guys.
Let's go to our Instagram page. Again, our Instagram handle is official_RX Muscle. This question from Real Young Kobe Bryant. Dave, I hate this effing show. It's a question for the both of you.
Go ahead.
Why can't Dennis Wolf win the Mr. Olympia, and why did Chris Aceto criticize him all the time? Can Roman Fritz win the Arnold Classic in the future, or maybe he can win the Sandow? So that
Can I answer
for
that?
both of you.
Who gives a shit? Who gives a fuck? You think I give a fuck if Dennis Wolf? Dude, don't put $1 in my pocket. I get the. No, I don't know. Who the fuck? Who the fuck is Fritz? Who? Who's Fritz?
Roman Fritz.
Greg doesn't keep up with
Dude, did I tell you when Steve Bleckman hired? Dennis Wolf. That's right. When he hired Dennis Wolf, he goes, "You're not gonna believe this. I just signed Dennis Wolf." And I said to him, "Who, the comedian?" I thought he meant Dennis Leary. I said, "Who, the fucking comedian? What the fuck is he gonna do on his show?" And he goes, "What?" I swear to God, Joe, am I right? I told you that story, but I was like, "Wait a minute, why do you hire a
Talk more
comedian?"
about Wolf in your column this month, Greg.
Yeah, give me
That
another
was part of
one.
the court case, by the
Who the fuck
way.
cares? Come
yes,
on.
we had to decipher if he was being instructed in creativity what to do, and I clarified that. Greg did also, but
He
I
would
made
tell
sure
you
to
what
clarify
topics to
that.
talk
Of course, you know that.
Well, I'll tell you one thing about Greg Black, and you can put this on the record for the court case. He told me once, I assign topics to every single writer. The only person that I don't tell what to write is you, Dave. I was the only one who wrote my own
Oh, yeah,
column.
I believe that.
Because I was the only one who could come up with my own
I
column.
believe that.
He
I
said,
believe that.
I assign columns to every single person, and then they write it. As a matter of fact, a lot of times he'll give the people the research and all the papers to document it.
Dude, he
so
always
they can-
told me what to write.
Yeah.
You know what he would do? Like Lee Priest is on the cover. Talk about, that's why sometimes you'd hear me like, I'd even bitch, like, dude, it's the Arnold fucking, he would tell me to write about the Arnold, but wouldn't send me to, like, if I told you, let's talk about the write an article about the Ranger game last night, and you're like, I don't know, I didn't watch the fight, I mean, what am I wasn't even there, how you want me to report on a show? How many times, you didn't even see me at shows, but let me tell you something about Dennis Wolf really fast. Whoever, all right, listen, I'm looking at the camera. Dude, I got to tell you something. I was backstage a couple years ago, right, at the Arnold Classic. Right. And I'm looking at Dennis Wolf. He had fucking veins coming up his abs. He was ripped. He turned around like this, and he had fat on his lower back, like water. And I was like, how the fuck can a guy be ripped to shreds on the front and have fucking blubber? I mean, he had like watery. And then I think it was Vinny Galante.
I tell these guys dry and hard. They don't listen.
He just tells them hard. Give it to me wet and hard. I mean, dry and hard. Dry and hard. Give it to me wet and hard. No, but you know what I like about? Hey, what do you think of that chick? Hey, Steve, what do you think of that? Look at it. Look at fucking Gina Aliotti over there. She looks hot. Did you see Victor's glutes? They're fucking striated.
I have a wonderful
Put me on the camera.
to that
dude,
one, too.
Dude, that's what you get. Dude, I was loyal to you. You fucked. Hey, in the words of fucking Scarface, you fucked up, Mel. See you at the resurrection. Anyway.
Who said you ever was one?
Fuck Dennis Wolf. Let's get another one.
Did you want to follow up, Joe?
I had a quick follow-up to that.
Go ahead, follow up with Joe.
Quick follow-up. This is right after we were hiring Gregory James as the chief photographer. So we were looking at...
Yeah, how did Per Bernal get fired? Where did that all come
Per quit, I think.
Oh, he did?
Yeah.
It's a little...
I don't know, that's what he told me.
You know what? I'm not going to even... because I don't know...
He's not happy, I can tell you that.
I know what happened,
He
but...
bombs Steve all the time to me.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah.
I know what happened, but I don't want to be a fucking washwoman and throw dirt around there.
Whose fault was it?
I don't. You know what?
I heard Per got into a fight in the gym with someone because there was another photographer.
I
there.
personally wasn't there. It was after the Olympia in Vegas. I wasn't there, so I don't want to start spreading shit like that. But whatever. I mean, listen, I got along great with Per. I got along great with Gregory. They're both excellent fucking photographers. But we were looking at Gregory James's website when we first started shooting for us, and he had like fucking amazing fucking like bikini girl shoots and all different. He had everything. Bodybuilders, athletes. The guy shot for Sports Illustrated. Guys, he's fucking, top guy, A-lister. So me and Dietrich, remember me?
Alan Dietrich.
The rat, thank you. Spill your guts. Tell him everything.
Let's get a couple of other
I
questions
fucking
here.
forgot.
We are getting a lot more questions.
Hold on, let me finish the story.
Oh, I'm sorry. I thought you were done.
We were I'm sorry,
okay.
Sid. We were looking at Gregory James's thing. So me and Dietrich were like oogling over these beautiful women that were all over his site. And Steve Bleckman was reading Joe Mangello's workout book that I was doing an article on. and he was literally watering at the fucking mouth, reading, not just looking at the pictures.
So
Actually
he was ignoring the website that you guys were looking at?
oblivious to fucking tits and ass all over the fucking place. Watering of, look at Joe Mangello, look at this picture, look at this, look at his supplement stack. Look at, and I'm looking at Dietrich like, are you fucking kidding me? Whatever.
Dietrich probably told me after. That's probably why you got fired.
Probably had his
All right,
hand
next
on his
question.
ass.
I told him a lot of things.
Next question.
All
Let's
right, so we are about to lift the curtain a little bit here.
Okay, let's lift this curtain.
It's a question from Trez B.
Tresby.
Does Gregg know why Evan Centopani was let go at MD?
What are you looking at me for?
I have no fucking clue. I didn't know to let him go. Evan's a good guy. I actually like Evan a lot. But who gives a fuck? Anyway, next question. I'm sorry, dude, Tresby. I'm sorry. I really don't know why. Dude, you know what it is? He's cutting back. That's why he released all of it. That's why he fired all of it. He just let us all go. I mean, he let everybody go. That's why the magazine stinted in this.
You know, Greg, I didn't predict. I said that Steve is going to have to let everyone go because it's not a viable business model anymore. No one buys magazines. He's not selling any magazines despite what he might try to tell his advertisers. And he had a very high payroll. Look, he supported the industry for a long time. He put a lot of money back into the industry.
He did great,
and,
yep.
And that's great for the industry, and it was great for the athletes, but he couldn't afford it anymore. And I knew he was going to cut back, but he had to go, I cut back, because he knew he was cutting back. And he had to let you guys
you know what
go.
it is? He wasn't.
But he should have let you people who were there for a long time collect unemployment.
Well, he
That's
should have
just
gave me
petty.
like
That's petty.
like Robbie Duran got a severance pay.
Oh, he did?
He gets, you get these guys that at least have
I didn't get any severance.
I didn't.
No, but I mean, like,
I got a phone call, at least.
you go from up
You got a
here,
text message.
and then you get dropped, and it's hard. This industry's hard for people. Plus, he was paying me. He was paying me.
you good money, yeah.
He was paying me a lot of money, and I understand he fired me. It's okay, but to do what you did to me, stop me from trying to make a living after that. That's fucked
Plus,
up.
you need health insurance. I mean,
You ain't kidding.
With all your medical ailments.
I'm fucked up. But you know what? Soon, this will fix me. Don't be cheap. Start buying this shit.
I'm sending you home with a case of that, so you better use
Dude,
it.
for a case of that, I would blow you right now. With your wife sitting right there.
Fucking Billy Mays
My
over there.
girlfriend would be like, "You're getting a free
two
case,
easy
blow him."
All right.
Go ahead.
Go on to the next one. This one from Dre. Dave, would you recommend Gregg to use Chris Clark's Synthol or Painless pumps?
Greg is not a synthol user. You like to put the regular stuff in there, right?
Dude, people don't understand that. I swear to God,
Why do people think you use synthol?
I mean, I understand why they think it. You know what? First of all, that TLC arm, that was one arm. It was a fucking balloon like this. And
were you upset that they named the show "The Man with the Exploding Arms"?
Yes.
Yeah, I know you.
I didn't even know that they fucking did.
They just
I
made
did
it
a
up?
totally different show. My friends,
If I tell anyone, if I say Gregg Valentino, no one knows who you are. If I say "The Man with the Exploding Arms," everyone
that guy.
everyone knows who you are.
You know what though? There's no such thing as bad publicity unless you throw obituary. But when I did that show, I did it for something else. And then, as a matter of fact, it's not just about me. I mean, Steve Mihalik was on there and all. But the thing is that my friend's father, my childhood friend's father, lives in Florida. He called up and he said to my friend Mike, he goes, "Hey, Mike, you're not gonna believe this, but Gregg's on television right now for some steroid shit or whatever the fuck." And my friend Mike calls me up, and I'm like, "Steroid? I didn't do no show like that. What are you talking about?" Yeah, that shit right there. And then, But so anyway, so my friend's going on, dude, I understand. First of all, why would anybody shoot that and not shoot the steroid into it? I mean,
well, because most people won't take 6,000 milligrams of testosterone a week. You had obviously
you're right
more.
with that.
You had more access to it because you were selling it at the time, right?
Yes, I was. I sat in jail. Yeah, I got in trouble for it.
Did you make a lot of money from selling all those steroids?
Dave, I made a lot of money. But guess what?
What?
They took it all away. They took it all
How
away.
much do you think you made?
Asset forfeiture.
What was your highest, your peak you were at?
Should I say it on the
Yeah,
fucking
why
thing?
not?
Yeah, right. Fuck.
So-
That was 15, almost 16 years ago. That's how long ago, you fucks.
What was the most you were making?
I got to tell you something more. What's the most I was making? I probably made over $1 million.
You did make over $1
Oh
million?
yeah, they took the fucking cops alone. Took 250. See that? That's blood, dude. That's a hematoma. You see that being filled? That's blood.
but
There's
what
no oil in
Yeah,
that. That's fucking a hematoma, you idiots. Oh, the other arm didn't look like that.
What I was so amazed is that you had the wherewithal to film the whole thing yourself.
You know why? You're not going to believe it. I was on a phone with Bob Bonham.
Right? And he said, film it?
No, I was doing, dude, you know that fucking, my arm.
So hold on, you were on the phone filming and playing with the needle in your arm?
If you look at somebody, you'll see the cord of the phone. I was on a cord phone. Because this, dude, you know what's funny? People always go to me, do you know how long ago that was? Do you know how long ago that was?
15 years ago?
It was a long, what people don't realize is that was a long time ago, guys. Yeah, look at that fucking thing, okay?
You look younger now, actually.
That was a long time ago. Look at that. That was Quaid. We used to make jokes and say, remember Schwarzenegger had that fucking, in that movie? Had
Quado.
that fucking thing coming out.
Yeah, it was Quado, they called it.
Quaid.
Yeah.
Quado.
Hello, Mr. Quaid.
We used to make jokes about that. Say, look, you got
2
Quado.
weeks. How long are you going to Mars for?
So I would drain. I drain that fucking thing of blood. It is. That's natural, bro. I didn't even know what steroids were there.
You look great natural, though. I don't even understand why you ever took stuff.
You know why, Dave? I'll tell you, Dave. All right, first of all, wait. Let me say a few things here. I took so much shit.
Yeah.
Okay, you notice that what people don't realize, even when I was working with you at Muscular Development, at first I was still fucking huge from it. You know why? Because it took fucking like 3 years for that shit.
You were like, you
the
had
oil
like a
was
storehouse.
in me. There was so much shit in me.
Yeah.
That
it might still be coming out.
Well, I don't know. Now
Maybe that's why you think you're natural now, but you're still huge.
No, it's been almost 16 years. But the thing is, I had so much shit in me I swear to God, for years. It just was, without taking anything, it was still, like, it was slowly leaving me. But I swear to God, it was like
still
fucking,
felt good,
yeah,
right?
it was like pools of shit. I had a fucking testosterone swimming in the back. But, wait, what the fuck else was I going to say?
I don't know. Let's go to Sid.
Yeah, go ahead, Sid. I'm sorry.
We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, more of your questions on the now, I don't even know, is Ask Dave or is this Ask Greg? We're going to ask Greg.
Ask us.
Either way, we're on rxmuscle.com. We'll be right back.
Okay, so far, right? We're doing good, right?
Yeah.
IFBB Pro Akeem Williams, what species are you?
I'm Jonathan Ballou, and I'm the training director for the ski and snowboard schools of Aspen Snowmass. My job demands that I ski hard every day. To keep my joints healthy, I take Arthrolyze Elite. Species nutrition. Join the evolution.
This is IFBB Pro, Sarah LeBlanc, and living a healthy lifestyle is super important to me. Are you getting all your vitamins and minerals? If not, you better get demineralized.
Why cut back? It doesn't pay. Why cut back? Why cut back? Woo!
This is IFBB Figure Pro Heather Dees, and you are watching RX Television.
IFBB4 Kim Williams, what species are you?
I'm Jonathan Ballou, and I'm the training director for the ski and snowboard schools of Aspen Snowmass. My job demands that I ski hard every day. To keep my joints healthy, I take Arthrolyze Elite. Species nutrition. Join the evolution.
This is IFBB Pro, Sarah LeBlanc, and living a healthy lifestyle is super important to me. Are you getting all your vitamins and minerals? If not, you better get demineralized.
Why cut back? It doesn't pay. Why cut back? Why cut back? Woo!
This is IFBB Figure Pro Heather Dees, and you are watching RX Television.
We're back in the studio. Sid had to go and broadcast a baseball game, I believe. So I will be taking over the hosting duties. I'm here with Joe Pietaro. Greg is missing. I think Greg is cooking enchiladas for his girlfriend. Is that what he said?
Enchiladas, yeah, and these quesadillas as well.
Greg will be in. He's in the bathroom. I made him a protein pudding, a protolized protein pudding for him and his girlfriend because I didn't understand you guys hadn't eaten for the whole day, essentially. And we wanted Greg to be well fueled. Here he comes.
We had
the man of the hour.
We had
asking questions already?
we had bigger fish to fry though, so it was worth
We do.
There's some
sans
big fish
lunch.
in that fish tank. Speaking of frying,
You like my fish tank, Greg?
I love you, dude. You don't understand. I have fish at the house. Me and the girlfriend got turtles, fish.
I didn't know that. What
No.
kind of turtles do you have?
Red ear sliders.
I have 2 red-eared sliders at my house, but I have albino ones.
Your girl was telling me.
Have you seen those?
No, I haven't seen it, but I want to see. You know what's funny? Our turtles were
Yeah.
as big as this right there when we first got
That's
them.
ours were too.
Tiny.
Like
they were
quarters.
tiny, and now they're huge.
What do you feed them?
Fish.
You do
I don't.
feed
I don't feed them live fish. You don't get let me tell you, my turtles eat good. I buy flounder fillets and I cut them
wow.
in strips.
See, that's what I should feed the fish in the big fish tank out here.
You know what's funny? It's cheap. You can buy like 5 or 6 flounder fillets. I buy the frozen ones, and
Kai Green does that,
Yeah,
right?
like they're like $4.99. You know what I mean? And I
Kai Green eats 42 of them a day, I heard.
Are you serious?
Yeah. He eats a lot of fish.
Can you imagine being his toilet? Holy shit!
What would happen if you ate 10 pounds of fish a day?
I'd shit out at probably 11. No, dude.
He'd shit out part of your
Oh,
intestinal
dude,
tract,
let me
probably.
tell you something. He probably has a weed whacker to clean his toilet.
Yeah.
It's disgusting.
Sure. All right, I know Johnny Styles is going to be sending me the questions. I know we have a lot of questions being asked of you, Greg, specifically porn related, according to Johnny. And Johnny would pull those questions because those are the ones that he has the best interest in, of course.
Let's do it.
Johnny?
What's Greg's preference of large clitoral or small?
Small.
Hold on, well, let's state the question. They want to know if you like big or small clitorises.
Small.
Okay. Why is it? So you don't like the women bodybuilders?
I like it. No, I like it kind of closed up like that. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, so you don't like the big women bodybuilders then?
Not really. I don't like when you see it hanging out of there. You know
don't
what I'm
like
saying?
that? Okay.
No.
Okay. All right, Greg. let me ask you a question, Joe, because obviously I heard from Gregg, I haven't heard it myself, that you have a terrific Bleckman story to tell us about when you got fired. What happened?
I'm going to plead the fifth on that one, Dave. You're setting me up.
Oh, I see. I was
Okay,
like, what the hell is he talking
that
about?
is.
I heard that you.
That's the whole card. I am going to hold that one for a
Okay.
later date. It will come out,
All right.
but I don't even want to tease it yet.
All right.
Just remember, I got one in the fucking up the sleeve.
The day you got fired, I heard it was a tumultuous day at the MD
All
office.
I can say is
Yes.
Joe has atom bombs, bro.
Really?
He's got an atom bomb. Unbelievable.
I haven't heard any of it, so I don't know.
Atom bomb.
Really?
But we'll get, like I said,
we'll
that's
talk
the-
about that off the air. And then
Did you get unemployment when you were fired?
No, I didn't put in for it. You know, I run my own company. I got Muscle Sport Mag.
okay.
So, you know what? I wasn't going to put in for unemployment and then try to make money on my own because it would have been a conflict then.
Right.
You know what? I mean, to me, could I have put in? I don't even know.
I
They
didn't put in either.
They would have probably denied me. So why would I didn't even
I
bother.
didn't want the unemployment.
You know what?
Give Gregg my unemployment, Steve, because I was actually
Give him mine,
I
too.
was actually a W2
I'll take.
employee.
You know what? I'll take it.
I hit the fucking ground running. I went right to work. I had a place to
Well,
you know,
I'm
put
working
my
with-
head down.
What is going on with Muscle Sport
I'm working with.
Magazine now?
Listen, I'm working with Joe. This is where you
What
know.
do you- let me
but the
ask
thing
you a
is,
question.
it's
I'm
right now we're in the
I'm playing
infant
devil's
stage.
advocate.
Go ahead.
All right. I think magazines are dead.
Oh,
I know that Joe put together this magazine that has all the rebels of the bodybuilding industry in here. I mean,
Yes.
this is, you got Lee Priest, you got Gregg, and there's an article
Victor
by me in here.
Richards.
There's an article by Dave Palumbo.
What,
Dave Palumbo.
what is going to make people want to buy this magazine? And number two, where can they get it better?
Okay, I will answer the question very easy. The magazine itself is in a print version and an online version.
Okay, so you can watch it online. Or
Yes,
read
you
it
can
online.
read it online. It's got a page flipper. You can get it on the iPad, iPhone. It's got a mobile version as well as a regular computer version. The magazine itself in print is not for sale on the newsstands. What I'm using the magazine for is mostly almost like a media kit, is to bring people to the site. The site is the main money maker. We have a weekly podcast, the Gregg and Joe Show, which Gregg and myself co-host on Monday nights at 8 o'clock, which we had Steve Weatherford from the New York Giants on last night. And we are doing a lot of videos, Living the Jack Life video series on the site. So basically, the magazine is a quarterly. We're putting the magazine out there to
that's
bring
smart.
people to
Okay,
the
so
site.
It's not going to be a monthly magazine.
No, it's basically listen. I work in the print industry. I've been doing this for over 10 years. Okay, working for sports, working for Flex, working for muscular development.
Right.
I know what's working and what's not working, and I can see the handwriting on the wall as far as the print industry
What's the
goes.
difference between the viewers have a question? They want to know what the difference is between this and MD.
MD sucks dick, and my magazine is fucking great. My magazine is no bull. Okay, I'm going to break the news right here, Dave, because I'm doing this because we are working together in synergy, like we spoke about last time on Iron Debate. It's not MD versus Flex. It's RX shaking hands with Muscle Sport Mag. I am going to break it right here on the next issue coming out. Zach King Khan is on the cover. We have an exclusive interview with Zach. Zach Khan is no longer with Flex. I have a story with him in there. We have other great things coming. I don't want to blow it yet because I have to still, there's still the black and white stuff.
We got huge guys come. Huge.
Big
We got.
names
We'll
coming
tell
up.
you, Dave.
we got
offline.
to get Zach on the TV show now that he's not with Flex either, because
Yes.
he's a great interview as well.
By the way,
But the whole thing with the magazine is that we're using the magazine as a bridge to the online
Website, right.
Okay,
Yes, that's smart.
online is unfortunately, even though I'm a dinosaur, I have to admit, online is the way to go. So I have an online magazine. I just have a couple of thousand copies in print to hand out, like we were at the Arnold Expo.
I'm glad
we
I
were
got
at
mine.
Dave's got his there. We were at the Arnold Classic.
Can people buy this?
Yeah.
You can buy it on the site.
much?
Yeah. It's I think it's like $5. I have it with free shipping, $4.99 free shipping.
$10. Cause
I
what
lose.
we're gonna do is we're gonna cut the magazine in half, and then we could just say there's double the pages. It's got 300 pages instead of 150.
When we were at the Arnold Classic, somebody we all know walked by us, and they looked very uncomfortable when they saw Gregg and myself standing there at the hotel bar. Yeah, did not want to make eye contact at
was
all.
that?
Why cut back?
All right, I got a question for
Go ahead,
from
let's
the
shoot.
audience. Johnny just texted me. They want to know: have you ever nailed a porn star, Gregg? And who?
I got to be honest with you. I fucked around with one, Jeannie Silver.
What? Johnny? Do you know her? If Johnny,
Long Jean Silver. She has one leg. She had a.
He knows. He knows.
She had,
See,
you know
Tony
what I'm talking
Soprano
about?
banging a one-legged broad.
Yeah.
One leg?
Yeah.
And you had sex with her?
She wanted to stick it up my ass. So I was like, I swear to God, her stuff. Look at her up. Yeah, I
He
know.
knows it. Johnny knows
Yeah.
it.
You're talking about 1981.
Wow.
A long time.
Wow.
Yeah, no. By the way, I just want to say something. I'm not blowing smoke up your ass. This is very good.
Thank you.
Dave made me.
He's not drinking coffee. He's eating
No,
proto
yeah.
ice.
This Dave made me protein pudding, and he did a good job. My girlfriend's eating it out there.
30 grams of protein per serving.
It's very good.
Only.
And I actually put water in there to get the last bit.
Oh, there you go. You got to use. I gave you a spoon, didn't I?
Yeah, but it's all right. I put a little water in there.
He eats steak with his hand. You want to eat
That's
pudding
true.
with a spoon?
Yeah, just dip your finger in there, Greg. All
you
right,
go.
another question. If you were gay, Greg,
Yes.
who would you bang first, Tom Prince or Bob Ciccarello?
Probably Bob Ciccarello.
Why?
Because he works for MD. He can get you back on the forum.
I
you're
think
banned.
because he would squeal louder. I don't know.
All right.
Squeal like a hog. Remember that movie? Deliverance?
Another question here for Greg.
Go ahead.
Has Greg ever tried Cialis or Viagra? Which is better?
Cialis or Viagra? I have used both, and
Which you like better?
well, I think Cialis is better in the sense that you don't have to
Last longer.
Right, it lasts longer. It's in you. You know, Viagra really gives you you get the head rush. You know
get the head rush.
yeah,
The sniffles,
yeah. Oh
the
man.
Sniffles, yeah.
But I mean, I'll take either one if it's for free. I'll take it. I don't
You
give a
like
shit.
it, so you like it.
Yeah, I do like
Do you
it. Yep.
tell? Will you tell your girlfriend when you're on it, or will you just pop it and just be like a porn star for the night?
She doesn't know, but she knows now.
The good thing is she'll probably never listen to the show. All right. Has Greg ever used Adderall? You are a stimulant free.
Yeah, no, never used that. No.
You've never used meth or anything like
No,
that?
no.
Cocaine?
Nope. Never tried.
No
Dude,
stims.
I have never drank in my life. I've never
People
drank.
don't realize this. You would go to the Sound Factory sober.
Totally sober. I don't
no
drink.
alcohol, no drugs.
No, I don't.
How would you make it through the night there? A lot of ephedra?
I'm just high on life. I
Yeah,
don't
but
know.
you
I'm
would-
nuts.
you would
This
take
is me
stims,
nut.
though, but you would take
Oh,
stims.
to stay up. I mean,
But
yeah.
you took legal stuff.
Yeah, ephedrine.
Caffeine.
Caffeine. Like standard
So
shit.
would you take a lot of that when you would go to Sound Factory? Stay
No,
awake?
no. You know what it is, Dave? You're not gonna believe this, but I'm very sensitive to stimulants. In other words, I could take a bite, the corner of a Viagra, a 50 milligram Viagra. If I just bit the corner of it and swallowed it, I would have a hard on for almost a full day. You know what I'm saying? And I don't mean to sound fucked up, but one Viagra tablet could last me 4 sex things. You know what I mean? Because I'm very sensitive to stimulants. A little bit of caffeine, I'm nuts. You know what I mean?
All right. Another question. Did you ever feel that Flex Wheeler used synthol in his arms?
Jeez, I mean, it's hard for me to.
Or let's just say, do you think Flex Wheeler enhanced his arms with anything?
I mean, I hear stories. I mean, like John Rang, guys. I mean, the guys tell me stories. You know what I mean? Like, backstage, he'd have fucking other guys shooting him, and he'd have shit. He'd
Well,
have.
what do you think? You're an expert in the site injection arena.
I mean, it wouldn't shock me. I mean, because now he's really, I mean,
His arms are small now. I mean, his forearms are very small.
No,
now,
but everything's
and he's got
small,
the
and
big arms.
I don't know. I mean, but people always accuse me, so it's hard for me to accuse people. You know.
Okay.
But I don't know. I wouldn't be shocked though.
Greg, are you rooting for who do you think will win, Mayweather or Pacquiao?
Well,
in the fight coming up.
The thing is probably Mayweather's going to win, but I'd have to go Pacquiao because well, wait a minute. He's fucking Filipino, right?
Yeah.
All right, forget that. I don't give a fuck. I don't give a fuck.
Who do you think will win, though?
Not many. I think Mayweather. Mayweather.
Are you a fight fan?
Yes.
Oh, you are.
Yes. I used to be a huge boxing fan, but now that MMA came around, it's almost like you look at boxing, you go, dude, he'll get
So
his
you
ass
like
kicked.
MMA better?
Yes.
I still like boxing better.
I do and I don't. You know what I mean? I like the fact of seeing two guys in an MMA fight. You gotta love when two guys just stand up and pummel each other.
Right, but very
all that
rarely
lying
that
on the
happens.
ground, fucking getting guys in a headlock and laying there for like fucking 20 minutes. That is boring.
Greg, who is the freakiest bodybuilder you've ever seen?
There's a few. All right. Now you're asking me. I'll tell you what. You got to remember, guys. You guys should be asking me really
Aside
good.
from Dave Palumbo.
Okay, so I got to be honest with you. You are one. When you were, I remember seeing you at one of Bob Bonham's shows. Before you and I really knew each other, and you were fucking humongous. I'm not gonna lie, you were fucking really huge. I remember that. You came over. I was sitting with the guy from, was it Ask Nutrition? I remember they had when at first those bottles where you put the fucking water in and you shake up the protein. You came over and you were like, "Is that what kind of protein is it? Because I guess you were hungry or
probably.
something like that.
Probably was
But
hungry.
all right, freakiest bodybuilders. Check it out, guys. What you don't realize is I know you.
No, I remember that day.
You do, right?
Yes, it was like that company, that Dan Duchesne company.
Yes,
like that,
yes.
had the protein
I
in the
was
bottle. I remember.
That's
That's where I
sitting
got the idea to do it for Species. I have those shake
Yeah,
bottles.
yes, the same fucking bottles
yeah.
that you once gave me one of those samples.
Yeah.
The same bottles. I
Yeah.
remember you. I was sitting there with the guy. We were talking,
Yeah.
and you came over, and you were fucking humongous back then. You were like huge, and you were like really hungry, and I see you sweating. And you were like, "Well, what kind of protein is that? Iron, micro iron, or whatever the fuck it was?" And I was like, "Holy shit, he's fucking huge." All right, but this is what guys don't understand, and I'm going to be serious for a moment here. I came from you got to understand. I was in Gold's Gym in the fucking heyday, man. I seen Arnold training in World's Gym. Right. All right, what people don't realize. I'll tell you a few people who blew my mind. First of all, Rory Liedlmeyer. Rory Liedlmeyer was so big, his fucking arms. I mean, he was huge.
Come on, Victor Richards wasn't the most
Victor
freakiest?
Richards is probably the most freakiest guy, although
What?
Big Ramy with the shoulder width is bigger, but I got to be, Victor Richards killed him in arm size and maybe even quads. Ramy's got those crazy quads, but Victor Richards, I think, was bigger. Right. Overall bigger, because Ramy's calves aren't what Richards had everything, and he was big. Right. So I always tell everybody Victor Richards was the most freakiest. Big Ramy, I've seen him in person.
Big Ramy is pretty freaky, though.
But you know what? It's his shoulder width. He has a strange build. It's weird because, and I agree with Chris Aceto. He has all the potential to possibly win everything. But it's almost weird because I almost feel like he needs more thickness in the back. He needs more hamstrings. He needs more calves. You know what I mean? Like, there's a lot. He's got some flaws like that. But Victor Richards was a monster. But Rory Liedlmeyer was no joke. He was huge.
I know the answer to this question, but I'm going to ask it anyway. Is Gregg an ass man or boob man?
Oh, God, there's no question. Ass. It's got to be small like a catcher's mitt.
You like the boy, little boy?
Yeah,
asses.
I do. I don't mean, well, that little boy, I mean, we're going to get in trouble here. You know, like that movie. Listen. You know, like that movie. Remember the movie True Lies, where Schwarzenegger's driving the car with Bill Paxton. Bill Paxton's fucking his wife.
Yeah.
And Bill Paxton goes, he's talking about Schwarzenegger's wife, Jamie Lee Curtis.
Yeah.
He goes, "You got to see, this girl's got an ass like a 10-year-old boy." And Schwarzenegger looked at him like, you know, like, "You're talking about my wife." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what I like.
Okay. All right. Next question. In the stuff you wrote about in every month in muscular development, was it real or was that edited?
Oh, a lot of it was edited. They would cut some of that shit out. Was it real? It depends. Some of the stories were like, you know, when I tell stories about me, like, you know, dude, you guys should be asking me stories. You guys asking, you know what I mean? Like, I got great fucking stories. I could tell you, like, insane stories. But
even more important, though, is it edited now? Your new column in Muscle Sport.
No, my new column is not edited.
Finally, unleashed.
Talking smack.
Why do you hate Franco Columbo?
Because Franco tried to pick up my ex-wife. And
I didn't know that. How'd that come about?
Well, what happened was this was at I think it was 1989 at when Schwarzenegger used to run it might have been the last year that he ran the World Championship.
Before it became the Arnold Classic.
When Gaspari's there, we were at one of those after parties, and Franco Columbo was hitting on my ex-wife.
He was at the after party, Franco?
Yeah, he was there. Yeah, so was Arnold. I mean, back then they didn't have all bodyguards and shit.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I knew them anyway from Gold Street. He was such a dick, you know. And he just was hitting on my ex-wife.
He doesn't even speak English, though. What did he say?
No,
there?
well, he was trying to talk with her, and when I was fooling around, I said, "Oh, dude, if you want to fool around with her, you got to fuck around with me, because that's my wife." And he's like, "Yeah." And he kind of like, get out of here. And I was like, "Oh, no," you know. And then, you know, I got pissed off. We had a little words, but Ferrigno hates me way more than, you know.
Well, yeah, you put him
Ferrigno
down a lot, because you're friends with his brother, right?
Yes, Andy Ferrigno, and I knew his father, Matt.
Right,
Yeah.
Matty,
Yeah, Matt. He was the good guy, Matt.
Is it true you almost got it on with Mike Matarazzo? Did you ever fight Mike?
No, oh no. You know what they're talking about? Yes. I had Mike Matarazzo. We did a big thing together for Children's Hospital. And there's another thing. Franco Columbo. It was the coldest day of the year. Mm-hmm. It was like one of them really like January freezing days. Matarazzo was a new pro. And I already knew him and everything.
Right.
And what happened was there was a limo waiting to take everybody back to the hotel, where we were all going to eat. And Franco Columbo got in the limo and told the limo driver, "Yeah, it's just me, go." So everybody got stranded. So Kevin Levrone was there. He'll tell you the story. Yeah. So I had in my car, I had Kevin Levrone, Sandy Rinaldi, was it Tanya Knight? No, it wasn't Tanya Knight. It was I had
get to the Matarazzo
anyway,
part.
The Matarazzo started going, hey dude, I watched last night. I was watching Howard Stern, and he had on he had a rubber wig on his head, and he was making believe he had a head injury and was talking like this, right? Yeah. And he goes, I couldn't stop fucking laughing. And I said, oh, dude, you ever see the one where he had this lesbian dial-a date? And he looks at me and he stops smiling. He goes, what's funny about that? And I said, it's lesbians. He had lesbians on, and, they're all like, oh, I want to date her. Oh, my God. Like the lesbian dating game, rather. Yeah. And then he goes, I don't think that's funny, though. He goes, what's funny about a lesbian? You think lesbians are funny? And I said, well, you think a guy with a head injury is funny? Yeah, I said, that guy, because he goes to me, supposing your sister was a lesbian. And I said, but my sister's not a lesbian. I said, supposing your brother had a head injury. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Right. But we were arguing over that. Right. But we didn't almost get in a fight. I mean, he was in the passenger seat of my car. I would have thrown him out of the car.
Is it true that you're real friends with Craig Titus, Kamali, and Victor Martinez? Those guys don't get along. Does that ever put you in a weird situation?
Yes, it did. Yep. And it is true. And it's funny. I could tell you a story, but anyway, yes, it's true. I got to be honest with you. I was there when Titus wanted to pounce on Kamali.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Kamali was shitting his pants. We were in Sound Factory together.
Kamali wasn't a fighter.
No, but Titus used to like to swap. You know what I mean? I don't want to say too much. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, okay.
He'll come out of jail and kill me. But no, yeah, we used to have a great time. But Kamali's a good guy when he gets. He's a little cocky, but he's all right. But Kamali, I remember one time Titus was sitting there staring at him, ready to literally pounce, and Kamali was like, okay, dude, I got to get out of here. I knew he was shitting his pants because Titus was lit, you know what I mean? And he was, we were with Robbie Lopez, you know what I mean? Factory Mubarak, all them guys. Yeah, it was crazy. I could tell you stories. I don't want to cause trouble because I'm friends with a lot of these guys. So if I tell some of this shit, they're gonna be like,
"Well, Titus is not gonna come back and get you because he's
no. Not that Titus is gonna come back and get me, but I'm friends.
What's your favorite Nasser El Somebody story? I don't know why people think you have one. Do you?
No, I really don't have a favorite. I know him. I mean, he was very nice to me, but I don't really have a great story with Nasser.
Who do you think are the biggest assholes in the sport?
Wow.
This is real.
I mean, I don't like Lou Ferrigno. I mean, he's a cocky cocksucker. You don't hear too many people.
Now, I've had a different experience with Lou Ferrigno. I don't know if he treats me differently, but he's always been very kind.
But you must have heard. You must have heard a lot of people tell you.
I've heard, but I've never experienced it, so I don't know. I mean, do you think he's misunderstood? Or do you think?
No, I think he's got a lot of things where it would dude, I was with the Cake Boss.
Right.
The Cake Boss told me a story. He goes, dude, we were going to have Lou Ferrigno on a show. We were negotiating all this stuff. And he goes, now, I'm paying, he goes, we're paying for dinner because Lou is our guest, right? And he goes to me, at the end of the dinner, Lou Ferrigno orders a bottle of wine, some really expensive wine. Right. They bring it to the table. Lou takes it off the table and puts it in his gym bag. What? Yeah. And he goes, and he goes, I'm sitting there and I'm looking, I'm going, I took, are you fucking kidding me? In other words,
he was trying to be right. A good bone.
He was a fucking. And so this is for the Cake Boss was telling me this shit, and he's like, I fucking was like, fuck you, you're not coming on the show. He was really pissed that Lou did that.
Why do you think Lou did that? Was he just because he has entitlement?
Dude, here's a guy who doesn't talk to his own family. Yeah, I mean, look, you judge a man. But what he does with his family and stuff. I mean, the guy sued his father's. He waited till his father died. He sued his father's family for using the Ferrigno name. You got your name, Palumbo, from your father. Right. Can you imagine if your father decided? You'd be happy if he could capitalize on something you did. I mean, that's your dad. Right. But he was trying to say.
He obviously had some animosity towards his dad.
I know a lot of personal. Dude, let me tell you something. I'll tell you. Oh my God, his mother. The brother gave me a letter, the father's deathbed letter.
Right.
I'll tell you off the air. Woo!
Really?
Woo!
What Lou wrote to the dad?
No, what the father wrote to Lou.
Was he pissed?
Oh my God! He signed the letter, Mr. Ferrigno, because I can't call you my father, and then died like 2-3 days later. Can you imagine that shit?
'Cause I can't call you my son.
Yeah, I can't. Yeah, he said I can't. Like, I can't. Like, yeah, I don't even want to call. You know what I mean?
Wow.
I want,
All right,
dude.
so
If I told you,
it's terrible that there was such
I got the
animosity.
letter from the mother.
Because we all love pumping iron, seeing Louis in the father.
Dude, I loved him too.
I know.
I'm a guinea. I love the fucking us guineas. We fucking like. Too bad the biggest assholes are guineas.
Do you think Kevin Levrone can make a comeback at almost the age of 50 and battle it out on the Olympia stage?
Dude, I think if Kevin Levrone comes out, nobody. If he ever got in Kevin Levrone shape,
Can he?
I don't know. It's hard to
He's
get
got
away
those
from.
super
Why
genetics,
is he really trying to come back?
He says he's back in the gym. Yeah, he told me.
I never. You know what? I happen to like Kevin. I knew Kevin from when he was young. I was there when he lost to Paul DeMeo, and and he was.
Junior Nationals.
Yeah, I was with Paul DeMeo, so I was rooting for Paul DeMeo. But yeah, I mean, if Kevin comes back, Dave, we love those. That's when bodybuilding was a lot better.
course.
I mean, we love those
If
guys.
Levrone could look like 90% of what he looked like at his best, could he beat Phil Heath?
I think so. Phil Heath to me is pinched.
I think so. I think he could beat. All right, let me another question here. Greg, can you explain how you dealt with the daily pain of the injections from testpropionate? What I'm asking is, did you resort to Nubane? What helped the pain, and is there anything out there?
I gotta be honest with you. I was a pin cushion, and I liked the pain.
You weren't sore?
No.
How could you not be sore from all those shots you took?
I don't know. I wasn't sore. I would do it right now if I could.
And you took no pain meds?
No. I mean, if I felt any sort of pain, I took a Tylenol or an Advil.
Right.
But no, I would never take Nubane. You gotta understand, I'm not a guy who likes like that kind of stuff. If I took a fucking what's that stuff that everybody takes, that OxyContin shit?
Yeah.
If I was to take one of those, I would be cross-eyed and fucked up like this because I'm very sensitive to stuff.
You told me.
But not the juice. I love it.
Greg, did you ever squat? Are you still squatting?
Dude, my legs were my best body part.
That's what I thought.
Yeah, my legs were my best body part. Nobody knows that. I had hamstrings and everything.
Greg, people don't understand, you were a very hard trainer. You weren't the guy who went to the gym and pumped up.
No, to this day, Dave, I wish you would see me train to this
still
day.
train hardcore?
You would die. I should get my girlfriend.
You don't have joint pain? You have no joint pain?
No.
Wow.
You know why? Because I don't stop. Dave, I still do the John Defendis workout.
No, but I'm saying I have a lot of joint pain in my body.
Not
my body, my shoulders, basically.
I don't have any.
No
Dude,
injuries?
I got to tell you something. Dave, what's his name? I remember Blackman was starting a rumor about you. I can tell you. I'll tell you off the air.
Oh, what was that? I want to know the rumor.
The rumor was, I don't know. He's telling me one time that you went to Brazil because you were looking for a kidney or some sort of body part.
I found 2 livers instead.
I'm sure, but did you ever hear that rumor from him?
No, I never heard it.
Oh, okay.
No, I never heard it.
Do you remember that? Were
Yeah.
you there? Wait.
Dave needs
He
a
remembers.
kidney. He's going to Brazil. He's gonna pay. They're gonna drug someone, and they're gonna put him in a bathtub, and they're gonna take the kidney out, and then they're gonna fly it back to the
That's what
United States.
I swear to God, Dave, I shit you not. We got it. I
My
could take.
dad's calling. He's constipated, but
Oh, is he
yeah,
really?
Yeah. I'll give him your number. You can.
Dude, I have enema in a fucking bag.
He tried it. It didn't work.
I got one right there in the bag.
I know.
You want
My
it?
dad said it didn't work though.
It's used, but I'll give it to you.
I told him to try the mineral oil. That seems to work for him.
Don't shoot mineral oil up there. You mean to tell me if he shot hot water up his ass, so he can't shit?
He said he can't shit.
Dude, I'll shit like a madman.
It's the OxyContin he's on. That's why.
Oh.
Yeah, my dad.
See,
needs
I
it,
can't
though.
do any of that stuff. It'll
All right.
kill me.
Have you recently talked to King Kamali?
No.
No,
I haven't talked to him. He's like MIA. And he doesn't live far from me, but I have not talked to him.
All right. Being that you're Italian, Greg.
Yes.
This person wants to know what the best place to have a cheat meal in Manhattan is, like an Italian, a nice heavy.
Well, don't go to Little Italy because you got all Mexicans cooking the food.
Really, I didn't know that.
Yeah, you go to Little Italy.
What's a good place in Manhattan to eat?
I'm trying to think. You mean for Italian food?
I know Jimmy Pilecci's aunt or uncle owns Angelo's.
Angelo's. I go there once in a while, but
That's
still, it's like Mexican. Didn't you ever see that video of me and Jimmy in there?
Yeah,
There's all fucking
I was
Mexicans
there,
cooking
too.
the food.
Yeah.
Go to Angelo's.
Angelo's
is pretty good.
Little Italy.
I think it's better than Umberto's. Umberto's is horrible.
What's the best strip club in New York City?
I used to go to in Queens.
Wiley's?
Huh? No,
Wiley's?
what,
Lachey?
Scandals or whatever the fuck it is. Wait, what the hell's
Flash
the name?
dances?
No, Queens, right over the bridge. there.
Goldfingers.
I forgot the fucking name of it. I haven't been to a strip club in a long
Did
time.
you ever go to Scores back in the heyday of Scores?
Oh, all the time.
Oh, you did?
Dude, all the
Did you
time.
see like Howard Stern and all those guys there?
No, I used to see Gotti Jr. there though.
Oh,
Junior
really?
Gotti,
They
yeah.
would all go there?
Yeah, oh yeah. I knew all those nuts though. I didn't want, I could tell you stories. I knew all those nuts.
Yeah. What was
Oh,
some of the craziest things you saw there?
Well, I mean, I know there were guys killed there.
I didn't know
yeah,
that.
yeah. Oh yeah.
Oh, really? And they would just like sweep them under the carpet type of thing?
You know what used to get? You know where that used to happen? They used to say at the tunnel. Every fucking weekend, somebody'd be dead near. When they finally turn on the lights on Sunday,
really?
there'd be one of the club kids, and they'd be like, "Come on, kid, hey, get up!" And meanwhile, the fucking kid would be like this. They'd be like, "And he's dead." You know?
Greg, have you ever used Trenbolone? And if so, how did you cycle it? For how long? And how long do you recommend taking it for beginners?
Yes, I used Trenbolone, but I'm going to tell you what I did. I diluted it with Aganabol because I couldn't take that fucking Tren cough shit.
Ah.
So I diluted
How much
it.
Aganabol? 400 cc's of Aganabol?
I don't even know. I just fucking fill the syringe. I don't know. Dude, you got to understand something. I'm an all or nothing guy. When I go to the gym, 100 sets for a body part, I don't give a shit.
No,
I
you don't
keep
say
going
that
and
way. You do 100 sets?
I can, yeah, absolutely. I do the John Defendis workout, intensity or insanity. Right. And let me tell you something. I don't do rest. I'd be a hard guy to train with because I don't do a lot of rest.
You must have good cardiovascular then.
I guess so. I don't do cardio, but I do a lot of that.
But that's the old Defendis thing is you didn't need to do the cardio because you're training.
That's what I feel because dude, I'll be.
You must sweat like an animal in the gym.
If I go, I'm not really a big sweater. Yeah, I do, but not like I want to sweat. I wear a sweatshirt. Right. I like to sweat, but I'm not like one of them like sweaty motherfuckers.
Any good stories with Romano?
Not I get a million stories. You guys should be asking me. I mean, I could tell you,
What's the best John Romano story you got? Anything good? Anything in Mexico?
No, see, because I wasn't with you. Probably have better John Romano stories than me.
I
was with John, but not like that. You know what I mean? I saw him, like I said, in a sound factory with a train. But, you know what I mean? He's gonna cough. That's not true. Her name was Valerie. I know her.
Was it he or she?
Well, now it's a she.
Who is the best brand ambassador for bodybuilding now? Do you think?
Oh God, for bodybuilding, best brand.
Who's the best ambassador? Like the person. Like, what would you say? Hey, that's a good person to represent our industry.
That's hard to say. Look, because if you're talking about looks wise, you know what I mean. That's look or somebody who you think would. You got to listen.
I mean, Arnold is he still the brand ambassador?
Yeah, but you're very professional. I know people are gonna gag when I say this. But Sean Ray's very professional. You guys are suit and tie kind of guys. You got the other idiot over there fucking with the skull cap on.
But do you really want him representing the brand?
It's tough to say. It depends on what you mean by representing a brand. If you're going to be the cover guy, the good-looking guy, it's hard to say.
Well, people are going to judge our sport based on that person.
All right, so now you're judging. So you're saying by looks, then?
Well, to the general public, if you had to have one person represent us, in other words, who would it be? Like, I think like a guy like Jay Cutler is someone who would be a good representative.
Yeah, but he looks like, I like Jay, but he looks like Frankenstein and shit. If you showed Jay Cutler to the average, if you went to one of your cousins or your next door neighbors that didn't know you as a bodybuilder, that didn't see you when you were super, and you said, look, they'd be like, oh, that's too much. That's overdone.
But Cutler has downsized now. He's like down
yeah, but I mean, like, and he has a strange personality. He's not a bad guy. Look, guys, don't think I'm bashing Jay. You want somebody like even Evan. You'd say Evan's a good-looking kid, but his personality is a little. You know what I mean? He's quiet. Yes, what makes Arnold such a great is that he's charismatic and all. That's a really tough one because Dave, you know as well as I do, a lot of these guys don't have any personality at all.
Will there ever be another Arnold?
If this is going against everything we say, but I think the next Arnold, which is the leading man in movies, is going to come from men's physique because they're good-looking guys, they're built, they're pleasing to women. Guys want,
But will there be another Arnold in terms of personality and dynamic?
No way. You're talking about a guy who not only conquered bodybuilding, then conquered movies and became a governor, one step away from friggin' president. Right. You got to give Arnold credit. Greg,
do you know Rich Piana?
Yes. I don't know him well. No, I've only met him once.
Okay. What do you think about him? The whole Mr. 5% and the whole, he's kind of taken over your new role.
Yeah. You know what? I like him.
overall,
I like Rich Piana because I think I like his shtick. That's his shtick.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't blame a guy.
But when you see how much money he's making, this guy's making mega money.
Oh,
and you're
dude.
saying to yourself, what the fuck, am I a moron? How come I didn't do this all these years ago?
Dude, I'm on unemployment, of course. Dude, I would blow Rich Piana on fucking YouTube.
He should have you on his 5% team.
Well, we talked about it.
Yeah.
I mean, like, you know, we were, you know.
Well, you're very lazy, though.
Yeah, I am.
Like,
you're
you don't
right.
like to go anywhere. You don't like to, you know.
Well,
you
I mean, if
you're a
somebody's
homebody.
paying, I'll go and I make
right,
money.
but would you
But
start your? Why don't you start your own business, like the Gregg Valentino Freak Show or something like that, and start your own YouTube channel, start doing videos?
Well, I've started doing videos and shit. You're right. I had my supplement thing going, but that fucking tanked real fast because my guys I was in with
But
fighting
you know
with
what?
each
I
other.
see there's a product now called Jekyll and Hyde.
Dude,
Like Pro-Sups.
dude, you know what's fucked up?
You made up that name.
Not only did I make up the name, they're using my fonts. If you look at my Jekyll and Hyde, they actually used my. But see, the thing is, I am not the businessman
You
behind
never patented it.
Right.
I got you.
So it's
you
not
blew it.
me. I was in with two other guys, and they fought each other. That's why that. But dude, we were 5-hour energy before there was 5. We were actually Jekyll and Hyde was originally supposed to be a drink,
Right.
Like 5-hour energy,
Right.
because Jekyll and Hyde itself was time released.
Okay.
Okay, we made it a time release capsule, Garden State Nutritionals, which is top of the.
Yeah,
you know,
they're
you know
good.
that they're
Yeah,
top
they're
of the
good.
line. So Garden State Nutritionals made up Jekyll and Hyde, and we originally were supposed to make it in a drink because Dr. Jekyll used to drink this little drink and it
Right.
become Mr. Hyde.
Right.
And my partner, the two partners fought. Well, you know, the weight of a drink and, you know, the cost effective. This way here you get 30 servings and all this bullshit. But anyway, they wound up fighting each other, and then they were the
fizzled.
money
It
guys.
fizzled. It fizzled.
Right. So
Okay.
I have nothing to do with that, but
Gotcha.
go ahead.
What was your best meal once you ended up in jail? What was your best?
Dude, I got to tell the story. All right, check it out. I don't know. Did I already tell you this story about me being in? I don't know if I
Tell
told
it. Don't worry about it.
Okay. Anyway, so I'm sitting in jail now. I'm in the fucking. They took us to court, so I'm in a bullpen downstairs with like 50 other guys, and there's a toilet in the middle of the room. No fucking, just a toilet. So they,
Did they let you? Now, people don't know. Greg has a roll of toilet paper in his socks at all times.
Well, no, they have obviously
Did they take,
in jail.
did
No.
they take the toilet paper?
Oh, there's
away
no,
from you?
there was no toilet paper. Trust me. So anyway, I'm sitting there, and they just fed us lunch, and it was a bologna sandwich, right? So we're all sitting there, and we're eating, and you know, I got to go upstairs to see the judge, and I'm in handcuffs. They got me handcuffed. You know, not in the bullpen. They release you. So I'm sitting there with 50 other guys, and a shit bubble hits me.
What is
All
a
right.
shit bubble?
Yeah,
Explain
it
that.
means like I got to fucking, oh, fuck. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
You know when your stomach bubbles like
Yeah.
this? Right? So I'm like, oh, my God. And there's just a toilet in the middle of the room, a silver toilet, right?
Yeah.
And because of my nerves, I'm, you know,
Yes.
and I'm like, oh, fuck. So I told the guys, hey, guys, I'm really sorry. I said, I got to take a shit. So everybody turn your head. So I sit on the bowl in the middle of the room with 50 other guys in the room with me, and I shit my brains out, right? Now I'm realizing.
Are they laughing or no?
Yeah, they're laughing, right? So now I'm going, they're like, oh, man, dude, you're fucking sick. I don't care. I'd hold that shit. And I'm like, dude, I can't hold it in. So now I'm sitting there, right? And I'm realizing.
You actually sat on the bowl?
Yeah, what am I going to do? I had a shit.
With no toilet paper on the bowl?
Right, now, wait, check it out. So I said to the guys, oh, fuck. There's no toilet paper. So the one guy's sitting there eating his bologna sandwich. He goes, use this. So I wiped my ass with the bologna sandwich. But wait, check it out. It was whole wheat bread. So that meant it got like whole wheat was in my ass. I had like an itchy asshole after the scratch. And you know what it's like having an itchy asshole when you got your hand, when you're cuffed like this? I'm up against the wall. Here, I don't know if the camera can get me. I'm up against the wall. Wait, where is it? This way. I'm up against the wall, scratching my ass like this because like I'm handcuffed like this. I'm trying to scratch my
What
ass.
did the judge ask you what the hell's going on?
No, the guys were, dude, I had the other prisoners, the inmates were laying on the fucking ground. They were like, because they didn't think I was going to wipe my, but what am I going to do? So I wiped my ass with a bologna sandwich. Dude.
True story, huh?
Dude,
you didn't eat that bologna sandwich after that, did you?
no,
Oh,
I
okay,
fucking
all right.
flushed it, but
Okay.
they were like, dude, the guy was like, fucking, here, use this. And I'm like, fuck it, I'll use it. You think I'm fucking kidding? Dude, I got so many stories.
Lucky it wasn't olive loaf.
Dude, I should tell you. Dude, did I ever tell you the story? The time I'm in Seaside Heights, right? I'm in Seaside Heights, and I'm with my kids, right? And my kids are young. My daughter, my niece, and everything, they're young. So all of a sudden, we're on the beach, and it's freezing out. Nobody's in the water, right? So all of a sudden, I feel a shit bubble hit me, right? I'm like, oh, fuck. A shit bubble. Nobody's in the water.
You had this happen a lot, obviously.
Yeah, well,
just to let you know, not everyone gets shit bubbles.
Yeah, but you gotta understand. You gotta understand.
Do.
You gotta understand
You
how I
must
am.
have some kind of a nervous stomach thing.
Dude,
going on.
I do. It's a countdown though. God made me tough. I can handle a beat and I can handle it, but I can't handle having to take a shit. If I gotta shit, I gotta shit, or I will shit my pants.
Right. So what'd you do?
So now check it out. So all of a sudden a shit bubble hits me, right? And I'm like, oh God, what am I gonna do? And there's nobody nobody in the beach is in the water. It's cold. So I'm like, fuck it. My kids are all there. So I run like this and I run into the water. It's freezing.
With your pants on?
No, with short. I had shorts on. But it was one of those.
You stayed in the shorts?
Yeah. I mean, everybody. I had shorts, even a shirt. And so I ran into the water. And as I go in the water, the shit starts hitting me and it comes out, right? So I'm in there and I'm shaking it out of the pants. I'm shooting the water up my ass. Wait, listen, right? So I clean myself off. I'm all clean. Kids come back, we get in the car, I'm telling the kids like, oh, come on, Dad, let's go back to the hotel, So we go back to the hotel, and there's an indoor pool, right? So we all jump in the indoor pool. And my daughter and my niece are there. They're like 5, 6 years old, right, at the time. And they're going, Dad, look, you got seaweed coming out of your pants. And they're holding it like this in their hands, right? It wasn't seaweed, it was the salad I ate the night before. Dude. It was like, my underwear was like a strainer. The shit came out, but it kept the salad. So they're over there holding it like this in their hands. And it was like, and I'm going, no, put that shit down. No. They're like, look, it's seaweed. You got seaweed coming out of your pants. It was the fucking salad I had the night before at IHOP. Dude, I'll give you another one. You want to hear another shit story? I'll give you another one better.
How can I stop you?
All right. I was up at Lake George in the Holiday Inn up there. And this is right after I got arrested and everything. Right? So I have my kids there again. And I go, and we're eating at the buffet, And, of course, sure enough, the shit bubble hits me, right? So there's this is the Holiday Inn in Lake George. So if any people go there, go to the Holiday Inn. So all of a sudden, I feel like, oh, Christ. And now it's a countdown. And I'm like, Jesus Christ.
Are your kids, like, embarrassed when you have
No,
to,
they're
like,
so used to it. Dude, I jump out of the car and shit on the side of the road. Don't bother me. So all of a sudden, when the shit bubble hits me, I'm like, I tell my kids, I gotta go to the bathroom. So I'm running in, and now it's a countdown. 10, 9. And one of those deals where you're going to get your pants and Jesus Christ. So I went like this. Look. Can this camera see me? Look. Yeah. I went like this, right? I went to shit. As I take my pants out, I went to shit. I missed the toilet, and I shit on a guy's feet in the next stall. It was an old man. I shit all over his shoes. And I hear, Jesus Christ, he punches the side of the stall, and he kicks off his shoes. And he was punching my stall, bang, bang, like this. And I'm like, oh my God, and I'm laughing. And then he storms out of the fucking bathroom. My son's like, Dad, what did you do? That guy, I heard the guy screaming there. He comes out, he's got no shoes on. I said, I shit all over his feet. You know what I mean? It was the most fun. You know how when you see a guy's feet in the stall next to you? Like,
yeah.
Well, I missed the ball. I went sideways, and I shit. It was diarrhea all over the place. I was sitting here like, oh my God. So
I sometimes I go into, like, public restrooms, and I see shit everywhere, and I'm like, what's wrong with people? How could they not get it in the bowl? I don't understand it. It's like all over. Now I know.
Yeah, it's sometimes like, I guess you can't hold it, but I don't know. God made me funny.
Well, Gregg, hopefully you win your court case with
this is
Blackman.
It?
Oh, you got more?
Well, I mean, we could.
We have more questions, Johnny?
Dude, ask me some more questions. What's the matter with you guys?
We're at the 2-hour mark, I'm getting told.
Oh, 2 hours. Sorry, Johnny.
All right, one more question for Gregg.
I think Sadiq is a terrorist. Go ahead. I asked him, I said, Sadiq, where are you from? He said, I'm from Afghanistan. I said, are you
Kodzovic's from Afghanistan?
That's what he said to me.
No, you mean Sid.
Oh, this Sid. Oh,
Yeah,
Sadiq here.
Who's Sadiq?
Oh, I thought you meant Sadiq
you're
Kozovic.
thinking
You're talking about our Sadiq.
Yeah,
no, he's from Pakistan.
Oh, same shit. Afghanistan, Pakistan. Anyway, I asked him, are you a terrorist? I was fucking with him.
Yeah, he doesn't like that. Because I once...
Oh, really?
Yeah, because I tried to set up... I wanted him to, like, strap a computer to his chest with duct tape as, like, a joke. And because I had a bomb diffuser here, I wanted to do it.
And he didn't want to do it?
He said, I just set him back 100 years, he said.
Did no one know why he didn't like... He was looking at me like...
Yeah, he doesn't like the terrorist jokes.
Oh,
yeah,
sorry.
Yeah.
Sorry, Sid.
Any other questions there, Johnny, you can pull?
Dude, I could give you fucking Gold Gym stories, Barbarian Brothers throwing up.
Well, I do. I love the story. I know people have heard it. I've heard it a million times, but
Yeah.
I think it's a great story about when you got to the fight with Mark Wahlberg.
Oh, that was in
the old Limelight.
Limelight.
Right?
Yep, downstairs in the Limelight.
I heard they're putting a gym now in the old Limelight.
Are you fucking
yes,
kidding me?
they're opening a high class, like crazy gym.
In the Limelight?
The old Limelight, yeah. Yep.
Holy shit. Think about it. That thing went from a church to a house of ill repute. I mean, back then it was when I was there, with the Wahlberg thing, that was in 1994.
This was when Mark Wahlberg was doing
It was
the Marky
Mark. Yeah,
Right.
Marky Mark and the Funky Bunch, yeah. But I mean, like that place, back then you had all
Well,
the...
he was a hoodlum because, he's having a problem with some guy he beat up, right?
He
right
feels
now,
really...
even. He's
Blinded
trying to,
some guy,
but he hit him with like a golf club or something. I don't know what the hell he hit him.
They fucked this kid up pretty bad.
Oh,
I think, when he was
yeah.
young. So that's when his fighting days. So you go to the
that
Sound
was
Factory
the 80s, yeah.
with your partner.
He had hood rats with him. They were all like fucking walking around. And you know what's funny? The old skull. This was winter.
Right.
He had on a vest, like a hunting vest
Right.
with no sleeves, and he had on an Elmer Fudd hat. You know, one of those hunting hats that snap.
Yeah.
And his boys all had skull caps on this, but this was back then in '94. Nobody wore a skull cap, so it was just like a wool beanie.
Gotcha.
And they were wearing tank tops. So I'm like, look at these fucking assholes, And actually, my partner Paul, the guy, I'm over here talking far back. My partner Paul, the guy I owned the gym with, is really the one who started with him.
Right.
And they were arguing.
How did it start?
Because him and his boys, we were kind of hitting on the same girls. You know what I'm saying? And he kept going like steroids, like that kind of shit.
He
you know what I mean?
personally said that?
Him and his crew, they
Yeah,
were doing all that
yeah.
shit. Every time we'd walk by, juice that, steroid, like that. You know what? So my partner Paul's like, yo, what are you, an asshole? You know what I mean? And they started arguing. And my partner Paul goes, let me tell you something. I'm going to be on Entertainment Tonight for kicking your ass.
Oh, really?
Right? Yeah. And then so Wahlberg goes, bring it. And then as my partner Paul went at him, all his crew jumped on top of him. And then he said to me, so him and I started going, all I did was I grabbed him in a headlock and I held him.
So
and
you
then,
jumped right on
I jumped
Wahlberg.
right in on it. But I got my ass kicked bad.
Really?
By the bouncers and his crew. They were kneeing me. By the time we were done, me and my partner Paul, they threw us out. I had no shirt on. I had to hold my pants closed like this. And I had a black eye because I wouldn't let him go. I had him in a headlock.
Right.
And I
you
knew
get any good shots in on him?
No, you couldn't punch. I couldn't punch him because I had him in the ground, but he couldn't move because I locked my legs like this.
Well, you're a pretty strong guy.
Yeah, I mean, I know what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And I had him in a headlock, and I had my legs wrapped around him, and I wouldn't let him go, and he was like yelping. But his boys were kneeing me to try to make me let go, and the bouncers, and they kept kneeing me in the eye. It was bad. I remember that. It was very, very bad. We both got our ass kicked. We're standing outside, and I'm like telling my partner, "Yeah, thanks a lot." You know what I mean?
Did you hook up with any girls?
No, there was all club kids there. Remember back in the '90s, the club kids where they would wear those shoes that were like.
Yeah.
Do you remember that? That's the club kid. They used to hang out there. It was on a Wednesday night, which was freak night.
Now you also ran into him in another club, right? Years
yes,
later.
it took a World. It was called World. It was what's it called now? It was called World or something like that.
Did he recognize you when you were in there?
No, you know what it is? We were friends with a bouncer, and he got his ass kicked. Then his whole crew got their ass kicked.
Well, what happened?
Because our friends, we got in there.
You knew the bouncers. So.
Yeah, matter of fact, the one bouncer. If you read my book, the one bouncer was one of the guys who betrayed me in my book. It's like a long story. I don't want to say his name on here, but what I'm saying is, we went there with him, and when Wahlberg came in, we were like, "You motherfucker!" We all
you went right on him. Okay.
Yeah, but all our guys, I couldn't fight. I couldn't even get at him. I mean, there were 100 bouncers jumping on him, kicking him in the head and shit.
Wahlberg got his ass kicked?
Yeah. They all got their ass kicked. His whole crew.
Oh, so you got him back then?
Yeah. We got retribution.
Oh, okay. That was
good.
It
was
I
good.
didn't know that there was retribution.
Oh, yeah, it was retribution, man.
I got you. And then did they kick him out of the club?
Yeah, they threw them all out. Yep, they threw them all out because my friend was nuts.
Right. Yeah.
I'll tell you off the air who it was and stuff. He was nuts. He was really bad.
Well,
but
Johnny, last question. That's it. We're done. This magazine is Muscle Sport. It's available at musclesport.com.
Musclesportmag.com.
Musclesportmag.com. Gregg will be seeing if he can get unemployment. If not, he will be giving blowjobs for pay on the street corner near you. Gregg, what do people want to get in touch with you? How do they do that?
You can hit me up at GJValentino@AOL.com.
Okay, you still got the same email.
Yeah.
Like me. Greg and I have had the same email for our whole life.
Yeah, I mean,
don't know why people change.
I agree.
They're
with
always trying to get me to change. I said the day I change, I'll screw everything up. I have
Me
all
too.
my names saved in
Everything
there.
is me too. Same shit. But you could get through me through Muscle Sport Magazine. Hit me up on a Facebook on there. I do a lot of this stuff on it. I mean, I'm with Joe. I mean, we're just doing the unemployment thing for the moment. Until we get a little bit more money in. That's what we got to do. We're kicking ass.
When's the radio show air?
Monday nights, 8 o'clock.
Dude, we even did Lou
same time
Pinella
Sunday.
recently.
You got Lou Pinella?
We had Sweet Lou on, a while ago.
How the hell do you get all these guys?
Dude,
on?
we get all big celebrities.
You do get a lot of celebrities. Do they
Big
know what they're
celebrities.
getting into, like when they get on the
Yeah.
show, or do you kind of like bamboozle them into it?
No, we don't bamboozle. No.
They know straight up.
Yeah.
Listen,
That Lou Pinella's a good interview.
Yeah.
Listen.
What is he doing?
He's
these
doing a
days?
diet. He didn't even know what he was
Baseball diet.
I'm doing a baseball
Not
diet.
a
What do you
piece
eat,
of
Lou?
salmon for
I
lunch.
eat pretty much whatever
Hot
I
dogs?
want.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? I'm like,
hot dogs and beer.
no, but he was saying he eats whatever he wants. Like, what do you have for breakfast? I have a
Is he
couple eggs
still
and toast.
managing, or has he got any job?
No, he's
Done?
retired now. Yeah, he's
How
just
old is he
hanging.
now?
He's like 70 now.
Wow.
Yeah, he's got to be
Late
in his
60s.
70s.
Well, this was a special extended version of Ask Dave today with special guests Joe Piataro and Gregg Valentino. We are out of time. Good night, everyone.
Next time, ask me bodybuilding shit.